Hey, Jeff.
Lou, how are you today?
I'm good. I guess I sound like I'm better than you, though.
Yeah, I'm a little tight in the back area. My not my ass, but my lower back. So they're getting tight. I don't know, around 12:30 today, and just kept getting worse the more I got in and out of the car.
You got to expect
So
that kind of stuff now that you're in your late 30s now. So, you gotta expect
yeah,
that kind of
late
stuff.
30s, I wish. Yeah, a couple of back surgeries in my lifetime has led to me to feeling like this from time to time. A lot of times when this starts, it's because I slept wrong. And when you got a 100-pound dog in bed with you, he tends to dictate who gets what space.
Yeah.
He's gotta
Yeah.
gotta lay around him, and you're not always in the best position while you're sleeping. So my God, I'm gonna blame it on the dog.
Even a tiny cat, I don't want to move my feet if he's down there.
Yeah,
Actually,
that's
most of the time he sleeps, he's like as close to my face as possible. I mean, it's nice in the winter, but
well. With a cat in the way, you can lift that pretty easy. This guy, he's dead weight, man. He just doesn't want to move. And then when you do start to move him, you get all like, "What the fuck?" And he'll get up and readjust himself, and it won't be much better than what you had him at before.
you got to remind him every now and then he doesn't pay any rent. So,
That's true. I got a king size bed, and I sleep on about 2 foot of it. That's about all I get out of a king size bed, you fucker. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Like right over here, going, "What? What? I heard my voice.
Hey,
What?
buddy. Hi. How are
Yeah,
you? He's trying to smell. You're not gonna be able to smell me.
yeah."
Lucky you. Lucky you. Lucky you.
Who is that? Who is it? Is that Lou?
It's not Norm. It's the other guy.
Yeah, so anybody out there, if you see the door closed behind me like I have a ghost, or if you hear some barking in the background, it's this guy.
Hey, Frankie. His real name is Francis Albert.
Actually, it's Frank, it's spelled like RFANC, like the monetary unit of measure for the
Yeah.
Swiss.
Francis Albert. That was Sinatra. He wasn't Frank.
Was it? Now, you know all about those old crooners.
I know too much about him, I think.
Yeah, well, you never know too much about him.
Well, do you want to bring in Phil?
No. Yeah, of course.
He's
Of
probably
course. I
champing
love
at
it.
the
I
bit.
fucking
Yeah.
love this guy. Who doesn't? Let's see if we can catch him off guard here, and he's kind of like looking the other way. Let's see.
If you're going to have a dominant force in the league, you couldn't beat a nicer dominant force than Phil.
Well, I was about to say, what's the over and under? He combed his hair for this.
You mean within the past 5 minutes, or just?
Yeah. I wish I had that problem.
Yeah, I guess I'm in between you and Phil, I guess.
Turn on your mic, Phil.
Put on your microphone.
Ah, there we go.
Yeah.
Hey.
You guys make me wait a half hour and then you make me look stupid coming in. What's up?
Well, that was my
compliment.
decrepit old back. Hey, nice placement of the trophy there. It looks like it's glowing. Did you turn that off and on switch?
Yeah.
I didn't know that thing lit up.
It does now.
You made some adjustments.
Yeah, we just added a little spot platform,
I didn't know you were so good with wiring.
He's going to launch bottle rockets off that thing on July 4th.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the
What you're going
in
to
the
find
back.
later on, there's going to be a neck coming out of it, and he's going to turn it into a guitar.
Right.
Which would
Be a very interesting slide.
Well, we can dive into the standings because once again, we've got a guy that went 6-0 and he's on with us. When was that?
Can I be on next week?
Yeah, when last week didn't Kimmler take the 6-0 last week?
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like whoever's guest is that week, they're going to get the 6-0. I think it happened to Bizzotti too, to be honest with you.
Yeah, the pre-podcast bump.
But we had
I
Chris
tell you,
on. He
man.
went 0-6.
Here's the thing, though. Why am I not going 6-0 every fucking week? Why am I not fighting it with Lou? It just seems like our guests are getting that 6-0 bumping, and neither one of us are lately.
Well, Chris went 0-6, so at least he was at least a dramatic record.
Yeah, he was living in bizarro land.
But well, you can see that Satch took the 6-0, and it wasn't a 2-point victory, but it wasn't comfortable either. So you had to battle right through Sunday for that. Sombreros at 492, and then we see that Bizzotti took the collar. So they had a real hot run, and that interrupts that. And I know that Hack was one of the co-weekend straw spinners, and he went from well, let me go to that glance thing before I say something wrong. I know he went 2 games. I think he went 2 games in the bad direction, didn't he? Or maybe he went positive. I don't know. Well, Buddha, you can still see. Oh no, we got a new Buddha leader. We've got My Baby's Daddies. You can see they're tied to the 10th of a win, but you have the edge on Kimmler. Let's play. And Bizzotti's still way out front on the lucky laggard status. But so you can see that Satch has opened up a 4-game lead over second. And,
you, as well as anybody, knows how quick that 4-game lead can go by.
1 week.
Yeah, I just don't have the feeling, because I'm the one in second right now. I don't have the feeling that I'm going to do anything hot in the near future. So I guess the team Spears always, Spears hung up there, but I guess Kimmler's the one that I think.
Gotta watch out for him. He's making a run.
I wouldn't be surprised if he, is ahead of me soon. So I don't think I'm not doing terrible, but I'm just not, I'm just being average. And I don't see it turning around anytime soon. So, and Satch, you haven't had you had the 6-0, but you haven't had the hottest streak recently. So that kind of enabled things to tighten up. For the beer league, this is a fairly tight grouping. We don't have anybody that's like with a 200 win percentage or 250 or something like that. And
yeah.
This time of year, I guess I have the records. I could look at it. I think that this time of year, we usually have a team that's even still in the 700s win percentage, I don't know. So only that year, the Cows won the Miracle Cow year. That was 14. So Satch, Phil, your first year was 2013, and you won it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you won your first year. And then 14, I don't know where you finished. You probably finished good. I have the history spreadsheet too, but that was the crazy year where Cows were actually in last into June, I think, beginning of June. And, they won it. So, but that's unusual for our league, so that's why it was so special.
Yeah, I think I was first in August or something, and then I ended up third or something.
Well, going to the glance tab, we got in red, we got My Baby's Daddies, the new Buddha Kings. So congratulations, Jeff.
Yeah, fuck that.
But it's only 1 win off. So we've seen Buddha leaders that are, much more unfortunate than that. So probably this top spot is going to change hands, as soon as next week, obviously. And but Bizzotti's got a good stranglehold on the lucky laggard status. And games played overage still Spears way up, and the McBrides are way down. So McBrides have been doing well lately, and they've got an easy way to get some more points on the board. Just get those games up. And knockers are right in the middle. And then we can see everybody's over by at least 18 innings. Cows have the least IP overage, the lowest IP overage, and Baked is now the top spot, plus 137. So some of Baked's recent performance has been due to that they're getting a lot of innings in. So,
let me ask you something about that real quick, if I can interrupt for a second.
Sure. Yes. Always.
So Kimmler and I were talking about this the other day, and he's saying, like, how are you going to handle it with all this overage? And I said, but I'm in the middle of the pack. for IP innings. Like you kind of just want to be in the middle because, you know, he can only go 6-0, and if I'm going 5-1 or something, you know, he can only get so much on me. So that's why my argument is you should just do what everybody else is doing, somewhere in the middle.
I agree.
You know?
I think.
Yeah, if you get to the last week, I mean, you're fighting other people that are not going to have pitchers in there either.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I think like being in the middle, like when you look at the auction, you can't always plan it like this, but if you have like, you know, with 11 teams, if you have the 6th most money left in the middle of the auction, I think that's pretty damn good. You know, that's a good spot to be in. You don't want to have too much and you don't want to have nothing either. So yeah, I think it's, you can see that it's probably better to be a little bit over on the IP, you know, on the innings, because you don't want to, I don't know, they rest a guy or they shut him down for the year because they're not going to make the playoffs, or they rest him because they're making the playoffs and you miss a few starts. You know, you don't want to be straddling 0 necessarily at the end.
The other thing too is, like, you know, when he starts to go after it towards the end of the season, he's going to be picking up pitchers left and right. By then, what kind of pitchers is there going to be out there? I mean, you know, is he going to be picking up a bunch of negative points? You know, I mean, we've all been through it. You know, I mean, you pick up that one guy, you know, that you need just to try to get you over the hump, and as soon as you put him in there, he gets you -15, which is a pretty awful swing, and hurts your week.
Yeah, I mean, John is obviously at least over 18 innings, so he's not like he's under or something like that. So, you know, even if you were under at this point, there's plenty of time in the season to gradually work up there, so you wouldn't have to be in desperation mode. So,
I mean, yeah, and you know, Jesus, I mean, if you look at it though, it seems like McBrides are putting everything into their pitching and not enough behind. They're not doing enough streaming for players.
Yeah, that looking at this, they're going to have to manage.
And yet he's still in the middle of the pack.
And they don't have to manage the position players. They just need to have more guys starting each week. You know.
Yeah.
So. So you can see the weekend worries were sombreros who went 5-1, just you know, second to Satch 492, and B.E.E.R went up too. So B.E.E.R, I think what did they go for the week? 4-2 maybe. So
yeah, 2-4.
They went 2-4 for the week.
Yeah.
Oh, so he was on pace for the collar.
He was going to be close.
Yeah, he was on pace for 1-5, and he went 3-3. So he turned what looked like it could be a bad week into a normal neutral week, and Hack lost 3 games. Okay, so he was the straw spinner. He lost 3 games. So he was on pace for a 5-1. He was on pace for his first, you know, good week in a while, and
well, let's take a look.
Season.
Let me take a look at that real quick. I'll pick up like my score sheet here. When it came to starting Friday, after 4 days in, he was at.
Should have been second in the league.
Now, Mr. Excel.
Unless I calculated something wrong. It's always a possibility.
It takes a little while for Microsoft 365 to show up. Yeah, he was in second place at 260.
Yeah.
So the next day he put 38 on the board. Then he put 59 on the board. And then another 46. So yeah, he was under 60 points every day there on out.
Mediocre weekend.
Yeah, well, what happened is he didn't have any starting pitchers.
That's the thing. It's like it really depends on how your starters fall. I mean, and especially, you know, that first week of the year, you know, you got that 3-game week, and you got a couple starters going. The next week, that first full week, you're grasping for straws. Usually those weeks where you have your best guys going twice in a week are going to be your good weeks.
Yeah, I mean, the way we cut up the you know, our Monday through Sunday, it's you know, it's a little arbitrary. It's not, I mean, it's the same day each week, but I mean, it's obviously amount of starts you have, and you know, it's arbitrary. The fairest way to do it would just be to add up the points, you know, for the year. But you know, I think we all enjoy the urgency of that. The wins are going in the books tomorrow, and you know, so I think the trade.
How many people have signed up for the second half league? Just the rotisserie. Are we still just us 3?
I canceled it. Did
you really?
But
Hey, Juan Soto just hit a home run for me. Woo-hoo!
I put in a rotisserie tab. The last one, it says Roto Fun. So that's just, with 8 categories that I custom made. They made, they're like nice categories, and so it can, you can take a gander at that, or you can never even visit this tab. I won't be offended, and I won't even know. So, and then the Lucky Babbitt hitting points, plus plays, plus 24 points, estimated, obviously. And the unlucky is My Baby's Daddy, still, minus 28.
Yeah.
The lucky pitching points. This is interesting for second and first. The Gaggers have the most lucky pitching points according to Babbitt. And
that's
Satch
according to everybody else in the league, not Babbitt.
Yeah. And Satch is minus 57. So Satch has a couple of wins, probably, and unless there's something inherent in the Babbitt, which would be a tough sell, because we've already done a percentage of the formula, due to luck. So that's probably, at least somewhat, Satch has at least a win, probably 2 wins in there. That's bad news for us. We don't need Satch to have any more wins than he has, but he's pitching to probably do a little bit better as the season goes on. If the just luck spins out.
Stop streaming all those bench warmers.
No one needs that except me. So, yeah.
Well, you know what? If anybody else has had like a rougher year in pitching, it's probably Mr. Larkin.
That's true.
Hey, Andrew Vaughn hit a home run. Man, my guys are back to back.
So players of the week, Cows had 2. They had Ozzie and Eddie from the Braves. And Let's Play had Shohei. I don't care what you guys say. I think that guy's all right. And
he might be something someday, but I'm not seeing it yet.
And if we had a draft, if we had a blind bid, I bet you I would have had like the lowest bid for Montana. So I completely missed the boat on him. And still,
could you imagine?
Even now,
could you imagine the price he'd go for if they just combine like hitter and put him at like DH/starting pitcher, and you can use him for both spots?
Yeah,
instead of having one for offense and one for defense. Could you imagine what he would go for in our auction?
That other site that I was asking people if they had any experience with, Fantrax, they're a very enticing site because they have a lot of custom features like that. You can choose to have Shohei split up like Yahoo does, or you can have him as one player, But the only person that responded to me about Fantrax was Phil, actually, and I had my concerns when I looked at the site. Like it's not a very pretty looking site, and Phil just said it was. He just gave it the big thumbs down. And
yeah, I've been in this league 3 years now, and I think I'm finally getting the hang of it. And then they just changed the whole format. 3 years in this league that's on Fantrax. It's an NL only league out of Ohio. That one of my regulars is the commissioner. So I jumped in there. It's weird. It's Roto. I think I mentioned it before. It's a whole different world, but it's on Fantrax, and it just took a long time. And mostly, I know a lot of guys do stuff on their phones, and that's where it really.
Huh?
They don't have an app. You can kind of make an app out of the website, but you really got to search around where things are mobile. It has some cool features. I just think it would drive guys nuts. You get a general revolt out of it, I think.
Yeah, it's safe to say that we're going to stay on Yahoo, because even I've just gotten so used to the features that they have, that the live stat tracker thing, and I can sort it by today's points, and it's just, there's just so many nice features Yahoo has. If they put a little more effort into some of the features, which I think would be easy to add, like just some of these other options, but anyway.
Did they reply to your letter about metering the amount of moves you can make? Weren't you talking to the head of Yahoo Sports about trying to get basically capping somebody at 200 moves for the year?
I haven't sent.
I'm trying to make Phil nervous here.
I was gonna say I was gonna recommend reach out to them on Twitter. They've been responsive in the past when I've been annoyed by something. and
No
they're pretty
shit.
fast at getting back to you. So
Because as of right now, just this is before even July, this guy has 241 fucking moves,
Well,
which is 100 more than anybody else in the league. Well, actually 95 more. I'm going to call it an even 100 more than Gambler's Spear. And then you got Bizzotti and Knockers that are right behind Gambler with 10 less.
well, don't be nervous, Phil, because Yahoo's max, it used to be 100 moves. Obviously,
wow.
That's unrealistic, and they've moved it up, and now it's 150, which is still too low.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be too nervous about that.
Because at this pace, you're going to make 600 moves in 1 year.
Right.
How many of those players that you pick up and send down do you actually use? Or do you just put them on your roster for a game and then drop them?
Yeah, usually that.
Well, guess what?
We got a good matchup, you know.
I mean, do you actually use them during the game, or do you just pick them up as a reserve and then toss them back down?
No, usually I use them. Occasionally I pick up somebody and I realize I didn't want to pick him up and he gets dropped 5 minutes later.
Yeah, those are usually the guys we're looking for on the waiver wire.
Nah, they're not really. No, actually, Yahoo does this thing I noticed this year that if you don't have a guy on your team for a certain length of time, or if he doesn't play in a game and you drop him, I think he doesn't go on waivers.
It's true.
If you hold him for one game, if you hold him for 24 hours and then drop him, it does.
Okay.
Right.
He goes back to waiver. But if you don't use him that day, you pick him up and then you put him back down before games even start. If the games haven't started yet, he's a free agent. But once the games start, he's waiver.
Now, obviously, that's a necessary feature because, then you could pick up 300 players and drop them, tie them up.
Yeah.
And then nobody has anybody to pick up off the waiver wire.
So I'm guilt-free on that one.
Okay, good deal.
No, if you want to know, though, Jeff, for real, though, this year I started doing more streaming of relievers.
Yeah.
Just because I think per unit of limited amount, for hitters it's a game, and for pitchers it's an inning pitch, and so we all know that it's no secret, that in 0.1 innings pitched, a reliever can get a whole bunch of points compared to anybody else. Right. So I just try to always have those 3 spots filled. So I'd say a good number of those are like that, and then every once in a while you find a hitter who's just batting third against a bad pitcher. And you know what? I'll take that. They're all professionals.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I would be really hesitant to put in a max on transactions because you want to encourage people to make moves, really. But it would be a conversation if Yahoo had anything available that was more realistic.
Like up to 1,000.
That's just a goal.
But even 150, I know they moved it up from 100, but 150 is still too low to me. So
I don't think anybody else in Yahoo plays the way we do.
Well, those are all their leagues, so there's a lot of rotisserie leagues too. Not just point leagues.
Yeah.
So,
well, let's look at his relief pitching. If there's a way to do that.
So let's feature Satchel. Oh, good. He's on top here, so we can keep this like the way it is. Well, you can see the hitting, no matter what this is Lou's favorite, right? He's first in that. Weighted on base, another excellent one. He's first. He's first in all these things except for batting average.
And stolen bases.
Striking
out slightly more than the average team.
Well, yeah, because he's got a bunch of sluggers with launch angles.
He walks a lot.
You notice he's got a bunch of slow fucking sluggers with launch angles because his stolen base is second to last there.
Phil, your BABIP luck is right in the middle. I mean, just slightly, one place above the median. So there's no hitting luck that's going on. So your last in stolen base percentage, and then let's see, in stolen bases, you're also last. Okay, so your team is not a running team.
No. You know what? Then they don't get hurt as much.
So here's the area where Satch is a little more vulnerable, but there's indication that this ERA number, you're ranked 8th, but your FIP is 5th. Your BABIP luck, you're last in BABIP luck, so that probably wouldn't continue. There's no reason that you would continue to have the worst BABIP luck. Your save percentage, you're 9th. I don't know what you are in saves itself. Oh, I had that other one, right? I had the saves and hold points. That would be better. So saves and hold points, you are 3rd. Saves and hold points. So a lot of holds probably. Let's see, we could look at your raw stats. So in saves, you are, where are you? You're 5th in saves, and you are 1st in holds. So yeah, you're probably picking up a lot of guys that qualified starting pitcher that are getting some relief points.
Yeah, and putting in a reliever for somebody else, with those end of the bench spots on a day off.
If you're streaming the relief pitcher position, you could you don't care if it's a save or a hold. I mean, saves are a little bit better, but it's pretty close. And then of course, there's always the occasional win. You get the guy with the win. That's always nice. I think
the way I look at the relievers is like I'm going after guys that I mean, if you don't get a bona fide closer in the auction, it's a lot of feeling out, man. Because I mean, you'll pick somebody up, and are they going to stick at that position? It's like I lucked into Estevez, and he's been fucking great, as far as a reliever goes. So I've had him as a mainstay.
Who do you have?
Estevez.
Estevez. Yeah. The guy I think I dropped him, then you picked him up.
Yeah. Well, he was just like, it was before the other pitcher went down completely. And then once I picked him up, he started getting all the save opportunities, and then it turned to him being the closer. That's exactly what I just did with Adbert Alzolay. Mm-hmm. Because it sounds like, listening to sports radio in Chicago, that he might be the closer going forward. So, and he's been lights out. I don't know if you watched him pitch, but he's been great. So this has been a much, much, much better year for me personally on the reliever role. I'm not getting a whole lot of holds so much as I am getting guys that will occasionally win a game, or they'll just pitch and get you 3 points. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If Capital Knockers had your relievers this year, we'd be in trouble. It'd be kind of a different game going on. I know you had
that was just basically me putting a relief crew on the fly since the start of the season. None of those guys I drafted.
Yeah. I like Estevez. He's doing good work on your team. I think he was better in Repo Man, but
Daddies are right in the middle.
Carlos Estevez is Charlie Sheen.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because that's his real name is Carlos Estevez.
Well, okay. Top Gun then.
So dads are right in the middle and save hold points. And actually, the Gaggers are on top. Nice. And Knockers are.
Usually, the Gaggers are on the bottom, right? Oh, I bad joke.
Or on their knees.
So yeah, this is a huge difference just in that one area between Satch and because you're in first, and Knockers. That's what 127 points. And that's probably close to about 5 wins, just not from relievers, but just the saves and holds from the team, So that's big. If Knockers,
he's just had a bad luck year with that shit. Doesn't matter what he tries, it just backfires.
Knockers would be up, well, they'd only be up 1 place, but they'd be, 10 and a half out as opposed to 15 and a half out. And that's just saves and hold points. That doesn't include the innings pitched and earned runs that the relievers are getting. I don't have a way to, distinguish between starters and relievers as far as what your production is, but I would imagine that he's gotten some crappy innings pitched and earned run splits from his relievers, and his save percentage was in last before. Not like the show we're gonna keep harping on Knockers, but they're still last in save percentage. They're up to 50%. They were like 48 the other last week we looked at, or 2 weeks ago, 45%. So
yeah, he had Hader, and he just he didn't want to keep him. He traded him to me in the off season, and then he got too rich for me in the auction.
So who's got him now, by the way?
What's that? A sombrero guy? Oh, you know what? I'm on the page. Let me look.
Could be
Hater is
sombrero.
yeah, sombrero.
And where's Sombrero here on the page as far as what a save percentage is? That 83. Hold on a second. Let me minimize this little thing so I can see past it.
Yeah, that's right.
83%. He's got
Yeah.
one of the best percentages of saves in the league because of that.
So anyways, the prognosis for Satch is obviously good. He's in first place. That's obviously a good thing by 4 games. And the hitting doesn't seem like it would be able to drop too much. And
you're giving up a lot of walks.
There's reason to think that the pitching will, even just with the same talent level, would actually be producing slightly better results.
So. Yeah, relievers do walk more guys too.
Yeah, your whip and your walks are up there. Yeah.
You know, Lou, I wanted to ask you, don't you think whip probably negatively influences BABIP? You got guys on base, it's, it pulls the infield in, you end up with guys that are, so if you have I guess it's more for regular teams that not really affect us, but if you had a starter who's walking guys, they're at double play depth or they're pulled in to stop a runner at third.
Yeah, no, that's definitely, even the guy dancing off first, and then the first baseman is opening up a bigger hole, and yes, it's all connected.
I think you got to look at the whip. Basically, if you're looking at whip, that tells you what kind of pitcher he's been this year. If he's not getting anybody on base, he's getting them out either ground ball, fly ball, or strikeout.
Yeah, whip is just not going to tell you guys that giving up homers as opposed to singles. So that's not going to be reflected in whip. But when you put all this stuff together, you can see that Satch is probably not going to have the 8th best ERA in the league when it's all said and done. So that's that's good news for Satch, maybe not good news for anybody who's chasing him. And I wanted to go down to the predicted part. Let's see. So it's predicting, Satch would have the best record even going forward. And so you'd win by 8 games over second. And it has Play finishing third, has them going 49-38 the rest of the way. And so it doesn't like Bizzotti, McBride's, Bizzotti, and Knockers. He seems in the middle. It feels like they're going to drop in the standings, and maybe some of these other guys like Sombreros are going to come up and pass.
What this is showing me, I'm going to be in 7th place instead of 9th. Great.
Let me see. It shows you.
Lou, is that projected points based on Yahoo, or how do you project those points remaining?
The points remaining is, look at the formula. It takes, all it is your hitting points and your non-save hold pitching points. And it does a ratio for the, based on what's happened, and it just says, it assumes that that's going to stay the same for the remainder of the year. The reason I take the saves and hold points out of there is because I think those innings would be the last ones to go, right? If you have an overage, you're going to get rid of a starting pitcher, and you're going to keep your high leverage guys that are getting saves and holds in. So that's why they're not included here. Then I did add that little wrinkle with the BABIP luck, hitting and pitching luck, and I think that's the only thing in here. And then so I take that number and I temper it based on where we are in the season. So if it was 100%, it would be this number. But based on the past 6 seasons, which is what I look at, 6 full seasons, so I don't use 2020 for anything. It says that at this point in the season, you can say that on average, half of your expected remainder of the year production is based on what you've already done. So it's we're about halfway between what's happened and what will happen. So obviously after the first 2 weeks, it's around like maybe 15%. It's really low in the beginning, and then it just gradually, at this point in the season, just gradually goes up a few percentage points every week. So, I mean, but this is all, it's only based on what has happened. So if your team gets a lot better, you get injuries, that's not reflected in here at all. And the other thing I do is I whittle down overages. I don't so these numbers reflect that you're not going to be able to pitch over whatever the innings, 1758, whatever, for the year. But it doesn't give you the underage points. Because, I think we know from experience, if somebody's under, they usually just stay under. There's not miraculous, making up that underage. So that's what I'm saying for McBride's, it's actually at least position player. It's some of this is in their power because they have enough room to get more production. But this model does not assume that. So they can buck the model.
Let me ask you this: why do we do 155 games as kind of our thing?
156. Well, because we just do 6 game weeks, 3 game weeks on the short weeks. So we're always a little bit under, yeah.
So why don't we do this? Why don't we add make the three win games 4 win games, or the short week? Why don't we make them 4 wins instead of 3? That way it makes people play a little bit harder, because there's that extra win.
The reason we don't do it is that the 3 game weeks are closer to being half of a normal week than they are to being 2/3 of a normal week. So that's
right. But it could go either way. There's 7 days in the week. Why don't we give them the extra day and do it 4? Because when you got 0-3, people just check out and maybe use that period to just not play anybody and get back in check. But if you got a 4-win week, you can go 4-0 and then have 2 3-1s, 4 2-2s, 2 1-3s, and then another 0, and it worked out to where basically you got 2 weeks out of the year that do it, so you could add 2 wins to this no problem just by those 2 weeks. But it alters, it puts a little bit of a difference in there, and it doesn't make it such a blow off the week. You know what I mean?
No, I don't know. The first week of the season, I don't think anybody's blowing that off, right? It's that's when you're most excited to play.
Some guys sleep out of the All-Star break, but or wait, it would be going into it, right? No, after the All-Star break.
Yeah, coming out. And
here's the thing though. I've been guilty in the past of just sitting my pitchers that whole week just trying to gain some ground back.
Yeah, it's a gambit.
5 or 10 years ago, I remember there being a lot more teams that played on the Thursday after the All-Star game. So having a 4-game week. But I think lately, at least from what I remember, there hasn't been as much of that. It's really been a 3-game, most major league teams are playing 3 games after the All-Star break. But even if a few play 4, we're closer. If we're trying to make each of the weeks, as close to equal to each other as possible.
But you might have some people that normally don't do this and just okay, well, I'm going to fucking really go after it and try to get that 4 wins so they can get a game back here or there. It's adds strategy. Because it's not 3 tiers of where you win. It's okay, all of a sudden it just breaks it up into 5 tiers of where you can land.
I guess
you know what I mean?
153, 154, 156 game seasons that we've had, they don't really bother me because I'm old enough. Not that I followed baseball then, but I remember that the season was 154 games for so many years. So I don't know, that part of it hasn't really bothered me. But yeah, I guess if it could work out, I would love us to have 162 game seasons.
Right,
but not by adding. We could make the short weeks 6 games, just like the regular season. Regular weeks. That would add more games, but that would be
right. I think the way it is now on that league, that end of it is absolutely fine. I don't think it's going to really. The only thing it's going to do is it's going to make for a little more strategy on the 2 short weeks out of the season. With the start of the season where you have that short week, if you have it, you might not always get that short week, in the beginning of the season, which will change. It's just saying.
Yeah, they used to open with a.
You get 3 wins,
full week.
Get 4 wins.
Yeah, they used to open with a full week. Now, it's been half week for a long time. I don't know. I don't see that it would add strategy because I don't know, like there's strategy in Bizotti when he opened the season, he said, screw it, I'm going to go 0-3. So he decided, that was a bit of strategy too. So I don't know.
I've won a championship by one game. So, I mean, when it comes down to it, it was like Ian Larkin that one time. It came down to like almost a couple points for the whole season.
If you made the games during the short week count more than they should, I mean, would that not bother you? I mean,
it's not that they don't count more than they should. It just makes people work a little harder in those short weeks. I'm guilty of it too. Sometimes a short week comes around and I'm like, well, I mean, if it's the middle of the season, I mean, if it's that short week for the All-Star break, then it's like, okay, if I'm way up on pitching, I'll just dump all my pitching, or not take the week seriously. But if you
I think you take it seriously. You just decide what is best for you to do.
Well, I'm not taking it seriously so much as care more. I mean,
the average.
I bet. Let me throw this in there, guys, real quick. Wouldn't it make it kind of crazy if you just not for the beginning of the season, but coming out of the All-Star break, you were like, hey, this is a 9. You can get 9 wins this week. But I mean, you combined them or 10-win week. Like instead of so you just combined it like a lot of leagues do, where it's Monday through like the following Sunday.
Now that's not a bad idea. If you just like don't give any points out in the first week and you hold those points to like the All-Star break, it's like the first half, second half.
So a lot of guys could go for that bounce, your last ditch effort to.
And then you get one extra win. You get like maybe 2 extra wins on that 1 week if you combine them, and then it turns out to be like an 8-0 week. That would be pretty
doable.
fucking weird.
It's doable.
Cool.
If everybody was really wanting to do that, we could definitely do something like that. We could do, like you're saying not combine the 2 weeks and have it be 9 games. You're saying have it be like 10 games. It would be like a 10-0 in there.
Yeah, it's like the first week. If we have a half week, you don't give them any games whatsoever. You basically store the points, store where they're at in the line thing, and then
we can do whatever we want because we break this up in a custom fashion anyway. Yahoo doesn't
exactly. Exactly.
If you wanted to, if people thought that was better, we could do it that way. I mean, with 11
why don't we bring it up to a vote this year? I mean, that's actually sounds like it's as shit.
Not for this year, though. I mean, I don't think.
No, not for this season, but I mean,
no, nothing. Can't change anything in season. No way.
No, but I mean, with 11 teams, it would just be each. We'd have each win-loss record from 10 down to 0. For that, we could even do it for the first week and a half of the season. We could also do it for the week coming out of the All-Star break and then the following week. So,
but here's the thing, though. You could have a guy that's like on the precipice of getting back into it, and he starts the second half of the season, and maybe he just basically won the first, which would have got him 3 wins. And then he comes in and he has another good week on a 3-day week, and he gets another 3 wins, but it turns into 8 wins and shoots you up a little bit. I mean, you're talking about like kind of doing a pretty cool shift on the second half of the season. I mean, I like it.
Yeah,
I like the
following me here.
If everybody wants,
I get you.
I'd be willing to do it. I mean, I like to keep the weeks as relatively equal, relative to each other as possible. And I know that means like the short weeks would be three games for us.
Well, 10 is closer to 7 than 3 is.
But I mean, in the average week. The average non-short week, the major league teams play 6.24 games. So that's 150.
Oh, I gotcha.
That's 156 games in 25 weeks. So we have our normal week is a little bit under that. Our normal week is 6 games compared to 6.24. So that's why the short weeks are 3 games, because the major league teams are playing 3 or maybe slightly over that. Maybe there's a few teams playing 4. Like I said, 10 years ago, I think there was a lot more teams playing 4 games after the All-Star break. Now I'm seeing that they really take that extra day to rest.
Yeah, this year everybody's got 3 games.
Okay, so yeah,
everybody this year.
that's the reason it's the way it is. But I'm not gonna. If everybody thought it was the greatest idea, then we would do it that way, and it's no problem. I mean, Yahoo, we cut the weeks up in ways that Yahoo doesn't anticipate anyway. So.
Yeah, not to go, and I don't want to keep dwelling on it. I will say this on leagues where I've had that long week, like ESPN or something. Man, it's just like it just kind of drags.
Yeah.
Especially if you're having a shitty week, then you're really like, is this done yet? So I think there is that negative side to it. So I don't even know how I'd vote on that one, to be honest.
So the way I look at it, and this is what I'm for, is you bank the first week. You don't get any like standings until the actual first full week. So you bank that week, and then when the All-Star break comes around, you add what you get from the All-Star break as you did at the beginning of the season with those short 3-day weeks. Those two combine together, make another 6-0, but you get an extra two. You get an extra 2 wins. You make it 8-0 that week.
Oh, you crazy.
For the combined.
You're just trying to do a workaround to get your 4 points in the short week.
If you only gave an extra 2 games, you'd actually be
Shut up, man.
You'd be counting those games, you'd be counting those weeks less than they should actually. Right? Combined, they should be 9 games. It should be a 9-0. And if you want to do an extra one, it'd be like a 10-0.
Well, normally you're going 3-0 and 3-0, so that's 6. But I mean, if you throw an extra couple wins in there, just an extra
9.
win, make it a 7-0 week. Here's the thing: is we're still kind of low on the win thing because like we're doing 6. The league's at 6.24 as far as games played and stuff like that. So no,
if you leave it the way it is and the team finishes in the top 3 spots in the first week, and then top spot, they're going 9-0. So you have to at least go 9-0 if you're trying to get more games.
I'm just talking about combining the 2 short weeks. That's it.
Okay. All right. Anyways, I have another idea, but I'm not going to derail us. I'll wait till we get to the Roto standings.
Right.
Maybe just throw 7 games in there for Roto results at the end of the year.
So hack is, we could have.
You're making it too confusing.
The last weeks of the season, the last 6 weeks of the season can count as 7 games as opposed to 6 if you wanted to, make it.
Did I mention my weed is really good today?
Yeah. Okay, where are we at, Lou, on this prediction?
No idea.
Good stuff. Hack is predicted at the bottom, and you can see. So Roto Fun. Let's look at Roto Fun. So these are the categories these are my dream categories that Yahoo doesn't have these, but that's what I liked about Fantrax, that you could make up any category you want. So this is hits plus walks plus hit by pitch, basically the numerator of on base percentage. This one is extra base hits plus homers. So that counts doubles and triples the same and homers twice, which is, if you look at the linear weights power equation, it's basically that. It's like 0.8 for doubles and triples and 1.4 for homers. So it's roughly a 1-to-2 ratio. So this is power, but it's not just homers like a normal roto. It's counting doubles and triples. You're getting some power from your doubles and triples too.
It's almost like slugging minus singles.
It is, except we take some of the production from the triple and we put it here in the speed part. So this is like sort of saying that doubles and triples power-wise are the same. The difference between them is the guy's fast. I mean, obviously it's where it's hit and all this kind of stuff, but so you have, instead of isolating stolen bases and having those John Birdie types be worth so much more than maybe they should, you kind of combine with other stuff and it kind of waters that stat down a little bit and makes it so this is stolen bases plus triples plus runs minus homers, and that's your speed category. And then RBIs is just left alone. It's a good leave alone stat. And innings pitched, earn run average, K minus BB. You've probably seen it in percentages, but I just you just have K minus BB.
The only way the innings pitches works for me is if you the only way you can drop somebody is if they get hurt and you got to get somebody in and plays. Otherwise, innings pitched, I mean, you can just stream the fuck out of everything.
Right.
Pitches you want.
Yeah, Fantrax had a lot of different ways to have they had different maxes. It wasn't just innings pitched. They also had a games played max. So if our pitchers had a games played max, we would have a totally different view of middle relievers. We would have, you'd want all starters, you know? You'd want starters that qualify at reliever as opposed to the other way around, right?
Depends
Or
on where
good
the game
lineman.
played max is at.
You know, because even the most mediocre starter is going to average, what, 10, 12 points a start. But your
You can
middle
do it.
relievers aren't going to, you know, your middle relievers are going to average, what, you know, I don't know, 5 points a game, something, you know.
You can have that strictly for relief pitchers if you could, but I mean, I don't know if you put that mode in there, is it for everything, or can you like single out position?
You can actually do it by position too. I mean, we're not going to go to Fantrax, you know, so it's just
Oh,
on stuff.
yeah, they don't do that on Yahoo.
It's enticing that they do have good features, that custom features that Yahoo doesn't have, you know. So you can see our league ERA is 4.02. So ERA is just a normal stat. And this is a way where you have relievers that aren't going to be worth, you know, $40 because I combine it with the wins, saves, and holds. So any sort of result stat is in this. Relievers are, you know, this is still the main stat that they're going to contribute in, but anyways, I mean, this stuff doesn't matter. It's just mostly for me, I guess, but you can take a gander at it. I thought it was funny that the standings are basically the same with our point system. According with this, if we had roto stats, like, you know, just saves, just stolen bases, they would look a lot different. But you can see, like, our top 5 is the same as our top 5 right now. The bottom 2 are the same, and only these middle teams are slightly jumbled around. You'd have Bizzotti dropping down to 9th, and Sombrero staying where they are, and Knockers and Daddies would be tied for 6th.
Lou, you got your ranks backwards though, because you get like 11 points if you're in first place in Roto.
I feel like I'm in
Yeah, I
class.
did. Yeah, I did it like golf rank. So like the low,
Yeah, no, I got you.
lower rank
lower better. Yeah, I get it. It's easy to figure out.
I on the other tab, I have it as like a 1 through 11, 11 bad, 1 good. So I wanted to
keep it the
yeah,
same.
you're right. Yeah, it would be the exact opposite of this. You know, instead of getting 1 point here, Satch would have gotten 11 points. You know.
See, I'm really bad at getting hits, walks, and hit by pitches, but I'm actually good at getting extra bases and home runs, stolen bases, triple plus run home runs. I mean,
yeah, your hitter.
I'm like, how the fuck am I in 9th place?
You can see like your
ERA.
hitting is 15 and 33. That's one of the bigger splits around. Only Knockers. Oh, Knockers the same, 15 and 33.
You know the ERA part of it is when my pitchers fucking shit the bed. Ooh, they shit the bed.
They leave them in. You got those managers that leave the guys in.
Oh, I didn't even take into account the manager. I only got enough time to fucking figure out who the fucking player is.
Well, the thing is, on a mediocre or bad team, they just run out of guys because everybody in their pitching staff is bad, so they don't have a rested bullpen. But a good pitching staff tends to have guys that they can throw in there and get them work to get a guy out of there, you know. Whereas some guy just has to sit in there and take their lumps. If you're a fucking Kansas City Royal, you just got to take the punches, you know, because there ain't nobody out in the pen to save you because they all stink.
That's brutal.
Right?
You can see the teams on here that have. Look at Spears.
I haven't heard nothing from like all I know is everybody's talking about Aroldis Chapman getting traded and what they want for him, but they want an arm and a leg for him. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? The guy's like fucking what, 36, 37 now?
Have you seen what he's doing though?
I know he's back to throwing 105, but Jesus Christ, man, something's gonna give here. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Lou. I'm gonna look up
They'll get something
Chapman
for him. I mean, that was the whole plan, right? So, but yeah, they're not going to get somebody's number 1 prospect for you know, a guy that you don't completely trust. Still,
they're acting like that's what they want because they feel like they had this diamond in the rough. He's got an ERA at 2.96, which is good. 2 wins, 2 losses, 26 games he's been in, 2 saves. So he's basically more of a holds guy.
He's still walking way too many guys, but he's got a 16 K per 9.
Wow,
16 K per 9, which is what he did in his heyday. A
Well, he's
lot
a
of times.
left-hander, man.
What's
He's
his-
like,
what's
he's
his
got that
walks?
arm. Here's the
But
thing
his,
with
but his walks are 6, Lou. They're
When
only slightly
left-handers-
better than last year.
when left-handers drove that fucking
I
fast, it
pass.
scares
I
the fuck out
pass.
of people.
And his BABIP is 372.
Yeah, his whip is 1.356 on a 2.96 ERA. That's kind of sketchy.
Well, that BABIP's really high though. That should come down.
But he does have twice as many strikeouts as he does have innings pitched, man. It's like he's getting a lot.
I
He's
hate those
striking out
relievers
sides and
that
shit.
walk guys though. I mean,
Yeah.
you just can't trust them. I'd rather have a non-dominant guy that's not going to walk anybody.
And I did say he was like 37. I was wrong. I apologize. He's 35. So he's got a couple years under
Jeez, I
West.
thought he was even older than that. Jeez. But he's been around.
No, you're right.
I might
Like,
be
I
right
mean-
because I don't know. His birth certificate right or what?
Right. That's true.
Well, I'm gonna
I don't
stop
know. You know what? I think they should cut a finger and just count the rings. That's the best way.
Like a tree, huh?
If only his
Yeah.
name was Woody. Oh, looking at you guys all face to face here is kind of weird after now. Looking at this spreadsheet for a fucking hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got some good discussions in there. That's all
Got a
right.
big face.
Livens it up a bit.
Yeah. Oh, hey, how about some people coming up here recently? We had Ellie De La Cruz make his appearance, and the fucking briefcase from Pulp Fiction is like shining out his ass right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's got light beaming off him, fucking faster than shit.
He said he's the fastest man on earth.
Oh fuck, he said that.
He said
Ah, well,
Jonathan
That's
India
funny.
said that he is the fastest baseball player he's ever seen, and then he said that I'm the fastest man on earth.
I just think he respects 90.
Huh.
You got what? The guy from Henry Davis came up today for Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
Who's
and
got him?
he's catching.
Yeah, I don't know if he's catching. But
You
he
know what,
just got
guys?
called up today, and I think they're throwing him in.
He's in. He's playing today. I hope he's catching. But yeah, Ellie De La Cruz has the fastest sprint speed this year in MLB.
No shit. So he's a fast
30.
baseball player.
30.8. Bobby Witt has 30.4.
Wow. I got the second fastest guy in
It
the
was
league.
Wit. What did I say? India? I said India, right? Or no, it was India.
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah. I'm sorry, I'm mixing up another.
Who's got Henry Davis?
India's 183rd.
You know who I think's got Henry Davis? Let me check this. I bet you it's Platinum Sombrero.
It is Platinum Sombreros.
He got all the prime young boys.
Yeah.
He's
He's
got
got a sweet
If he stays at catcher at least for 5 years or so, then he's going to have quite the tandem, quite a reasonably priced tandem with Rushman.
Yeah, he might be one of those DH left field first base guys with like where he catches. But if he can keep what does it take 10 games a year, 20 a year, he might do that.
I think it only takes 10 in Yahoo. Yeah, I think
Yeah, that
10
sounds right.
started. 10 started, maybe. I don't know.
well, he was batting 284, 433, 550, 41. So the guy takes walks too. So if he can call a game, he gonna be good.
Well, they got that other kid in the minors too.
Andy Rodriguez.
Yeah, who he was hot last year.
One of those guys is not going to be, it's not going to play catcher. So they're just
Supposing Andy is a lot better receiver, I think.
Yeah.
But I'm not. Don't quote me on that.
I think the book on Davis is, just from what I've read or watched, that there's a disagreement whether he's going to stay at catcher. So I think that's a real good chance that, especially if you're saying he's better at catcher, I think that would be the plan then, right?
Yeah, I think so. He played right field today.
Watch out for Pittsburgh, man. They got some guys coming up the pipeline. Of course, they might just sell them off before they get anywhere with them. But I mean, they're playing good this year.
Well, I don't think they would do that this time, but they better hope that they're going to hit on these guys, because they've been rebuilding for such a.
The one thing, could
Ridiculous
you
amount of
imagine if
time.
Pittsburgh had O'Neal Cruz right now?
Yeah. Well, he's a couple months out.
I know. I just got back Alonzo, thank God. But he's
Yeah, he came
I
back
think
quick.
he's offered me since he's come back.
He came
Oh,
back
actually got a
quick.
hit. He hit a double. Hit a double and got a walk.
Yeah, that was real fast, like 2 weeks early.
I think it was like 11. They said 11
it
days.
was a bone
Originally,
bruise.
it was
I
3
think
to 4 weeks.
they said it was a bone bruise, and I think they overcompensated because it was in the wrist area. Oh,
I think he came back early because Mark Vientos had an OPS like 440 or something. So, you know, like they need him, man. It's not like their big guns are doing much either. You know, even McNeil is like just league average. Lindor. I mean, it's a tough team to get enthusiastic about, you know.
Yeah, man, I feel bad for anybody who roots for that team. For sure.
so Lou,
Yeah.
right now you have 54 points today.
When things are going well and I miss a Mets game, I tape them and I'll at least watch like the pregame thing. And then, you know, in this one, I had 3 games I hadn't watched. I had a busy weekend. I just deleted them all. I don't want to say. I know they beat the Cardinals once, but I mean, I just deleted the whole thing. I didn't watch any of it. You know, so they're disgusting me. You know, it's hard to watch.
Thatch is at 42 points so far today, and I'm at 44. Good thing is it's all hitting. I have no.
I'm sorry, but when there's a post game and Max Scherzer's pitched 5 innings, allowed 6 earned runs, and they're talking about the positives he can take away from, like, you know, he had good feel for his slider. I can't hear that shit. You're making 45 or 43 fucking $1 million a year. I don't want to hear that you take some positives out of it. You know, that's bullshit. I just can't listen to that stuff anymore, you know? And I was wrong. Last week I said that Scherzer was only signed next year for 15. I must have been thinking of the Trevor Bauer contract, because no, he's making 43.3 next year, just like Verlander.
Oh yeah.
So those guys better, you know, like what? I'm gonna be in the same room as them. I'm making threats, but they better, you know,
earn their money.
Well, they better pitch, because I can't hear these post-game interviews like with these guys that are making 43 million a year talk about how, well, you know, I didn't have feel for this pitch. No, fuck it. You know, we didn't sign somebody like that's work in progress. You know what I mean? Come on.
Yeah. Get out there and fucking, well, you know, here's the thing though. The older they get, they can't practice as much because they only got so much left in their arm.
I mean, ultimately, I don't fault them, because, you know, if somebody offers you money, you take it, you know, so it's not their fault. It's the Mets' whole plan is just an idiotic plan. And it's not 2020 hindsight, because I remember Chris asked me, you know, a year and a half ago, well, boy, you excited about Scherzer? And I said, well, it's not the way I would have gone about it. You know, it's not what I would have done. I would rather sign 2 guys for that money than 1 old guy. You know, and he did pitch well last year. He didn't pitch the whole year either, but this year he's not pitched the whole year, and he's not pitching, you know, not consistently well.
Yeah.
It's just bullshit. When you make that kind of money, when you make 23 million a year, you better be pretty good too, you know.
I think we might.
You know what? Those guys they were so cocky.
Stroman back.
They were so cocky in the spring. It's like, just learn how the clock works and deal with it. But remember, they were mixing up the pitches and trying to mess with the batters. How long they held the ball and everything.
Scherzer did that. He's the only one.
Well, just get used to it, because these minor league guys are coming up and showing you up.
Yeah, this is a hard team for me to root for, because I don't like Lindor. I didn't like that they traded for Lindor right before he needed to be signed, and then if they didn't sign him right away, then it was gonna be a weird, you know. I hated that whole situation where they traded those guys. And
you know what it is?
Like the guy, you know, Jimenez, that they gave up, even though I know that last year was too good a year for him. He's playing mediocre this year.
For some of the players, the city of New York is a very distracting place. And it takes them out of the fucking focus of baseball. I have a feeling.
I think those narratives are overstated. I mean, yeah, I can see that playing in New York would be more challenging than playing in Milwaukee or something, but I don't.
I think that's part of why they handle their team the way they did. They wanted veterans that knew the league and could handle the pressure and the bright lights, and why they kind of slow played the rookies a little bit.
I think a lot of that has a lot, fucking New York fucking media is brutal.
You want to take pressure off your team? Then don't have the highest payroll in baseball by $100 million.
But you know what? Your ownership is trying. You just have guys making the wrong fucking decisions on the wrong people. So he's got to take that up with the guys that make the decisions. You guys want to see me open a pop fly?
Sure, yeah. Are they a sponsor yet?
Nope.
Keep trying.
I did just get this one in the mail the other day.
We haven't talked about them in a while.
Oh, this one, I know which one it is. It's they always throw in like a pack of fucking like wax cards or something, so we have to go through that together. It was Reggie Jackson, Mr. October. Now, some of these people got these like inscribed and like signed and shit. And I mean, probably about a $200 print then, but this one's only $60.
Yeah, that's cool.
And I don't know. I always like Reggie Jackson. Now
I can't get out of this. I might have to share what I was sharing because it's covering up my screen now, and I don't know how to get out of it.
The weirdest little pack of baseball cards I've ever seen in my life. Look at this thing. It's like maybe 2 cards in there, maybe 1, but there's Tom.
Huh.
And I don't know what year this is from. This is 1988 tops.
Yeah, I can't see it.
The fuck is this?
But it's resealed?
Oh, it's 1988 yearbook stickers.
Oh, gotcha.
So you get 5 sticker cards and a stick of bubble gum.
Oh, that's better. Okay.
You eat that?
Sure.
Oh man, that smells like dust.
You look like Bill Murray in Caddyshack. What? It's no big deal.
All right, so we got a superstar Dwight Evans. Ooh.
Yeah, I got some Dwight Evans lying around.
Dwight Evans was a good baseball player. Superstar Tim Wallach.
Yeah. He had some good years, man.
He's not going to be in the Hall of Fame anytime soon.
No, but Tim Wallach had some years, man. They weren't wrong in that year.
There's a guy I would like fight for a little bit for the fucking Hall of Fame was Rock Raines.
Yeah, Tim Raines. Yeah,
he was good.
Yep, and you know, one of his best seasons got cut short.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh.
I mean, that's
okay. Hold on. Pedro Guerrero.
Now, what are these cards? This is an issue. This is a modern.
I have no idea what the fuck these things are. He just throws some weird pack of cards in with every one of these pop flies. So I think he finds bulk.
It's like
and just holy shit and just like sucks it up and then throws it back in with every like kind of print you order just for fun.
Let me just throw some Tim Wallach stats at you to prove he wasn't so bad. Career 260 homers. He had 2,085 hits in his career over a 16 year career, but the first year was like 5 games. That's not bad.
No. What was his WAR throughout his career?
His WAR total was
37.6.
Because even though he did all that, they said his offensive WAR was only 0.5 and defense was 74. So he was also holding down the hot corner for you.
Yeah. So I mean, if you go like both ways as far as the hitting and the fielding, solid. And you know what though? He's underrated as fuck. A little bit, to be honest with you.
You're playing in Montreal, you know, in the days before. Even now, you'd be forgotten, just like you're in Tampa Bay, you know, or if you're Oakland. It's the same deal. It doesn't matter what days it is. And they were pretty good. And
you know what?
For
here's the thing that throws me here a little bit about him though is on base percentage 316, OPS 732 career.
Yeah, but look at the WRC plus, you know,
Yeah.
because that's like adjusted to the league.
Well, hey, he played from 22 to 39, so he did something right.
Well, for a career, he was 102 WRC plus, meaning he was for a full career, he was still slightly above average. That's not bad for a whole career for WRC plus.
And for
'Cause
the
that,
most
yeah, that
part,
adjusts for like
he's got to be in the Montreal Ring of Fame for baseball. I mean,
he was one of those when I
played for
sent that
them
picture
for
of those bobbleheads. He was one of those bobbleheads.
yeah, he's like 13 years he played with them, and then he was with the Dodgers for 3. And then I don't know if they've got this flipped around where it was like he was with the Dodgers and then went into the 4th year, and then they traded him to California. They kind of got it upside down here, I think. I don't think he went to California and then to Dodgers. Anyway, best guy.
But Tim Raines, 100% would get my Hall of Fame vote. Tim Raines for sure.
Oh yeah.
Come on,
I'm
the
down
guy's
with Tim
like,
Raines.
I don't know what he needs to get a different PR person or something, or go on a publicity tour. 2,600 career.
You just talked to Harold Baines, this guy.
Yeah, right. Exactly. He needs Reinsdorf grinding for him. 808 stolen bases in his career. I mean, that's, you know, that's a lot.
Yeah, it's like Brock and Henderson and Cobb.
Yeah, well,
like
because he doesn't have the record, they don't take it too seriously, and that's not true. I mean, that dude was a gamer. I mean, when you're stealing bases, you're putting it out
another
there.
guy back a long time ago, right? I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
Well, number 3 is Billy Hamilton.
That's
sink your teeth into that one.
Yeah, but Billy Hamilton's kind of hit the ball. I mean, Rock Raines, he was actually batting 300 and shit in some years. Let's look him up.
I know. I'm just saying Billy Hamilton isn't doing Rock Raines any favors.
Who's the old time guy I'm thinking of that's way up on that list besides Cobb?
Ricky Henderson?
No, I mean old like
Cobb. You know what? Maybe that is who I'm thinking of. Billy Hamilton.
So here's the other thing.
1866 to 1940.
I was starting saying that I thought you meant the news.
No, I did mean that, but I was wrong. That's hilarious.
There's no way Hamilton's been on first base like 800 times.
I was shocked.
Okay. So listen to these stats here. Actually, Tim Raines is in the Hall of Fame. What the fuck we talking about?
Ladies and gentlemen, your podcast host tonight.
I can't remember all the people in the fucking Hall of Fame. No, yeah, when did he get inducted?
2017, sir. 2017.
Wow.
He had the best stolen base percentage of all time with anybody with over 400 steals.
Well, the dude was like, he's a career 294 batter. And he's got an OBP for the career 385 with an offensive WAR of 69.4.
Oh, yeah.
No brainer.
Yeah, he was 86%.
60, they say, is usually, if you got 60, you're going to get in, probably.
Yeah, he had 86% of the votes. He was,
Yeah. A 7-time All-Star, 2 times World Series, batting title, Silver Slugger, All-Star, and
but you know what?
MVP.
But he was first eligible in 2008. I don't think he got elected until he got to the Veterans Committee, probably in 2017.
Dude, that's a fucking crying shame, to be honest with you.
Well, he if you voted for him, he said he would hook you up with some good folks. So I think that's how that's probably helped him. Yeah, so he's the guy that had the vial in his pocket, right? He was stealing. He had the vial in his pocket, and he was like taking it out of his pocket so it wouldn't break on a slide.
I was not aware of that one, but
there's a good documentary on MLB occasionally. That's in there. Man, they got so screwed with that strike. They were having a great season, and then you could make a case that they never came back attendance-wise, and they lost that franchise. The city lost the franchise because of the damn strike in '94.
Yep.
They never recovered.
Hey, would you guys mind if I steered the conversation a certain way here? Cincinnati Reds. Joey Votto comes back. Hunter Green goes on the IL in the meantime. But, you know, with that team adding Joey Votto right now, what do you think about the Reds?
Probably good. Probably good. I don't know if he'll stay healthy. You know, a few weeks ago I mentioned that the Reds extended Green because I think that they're looking at what these other smart teams are doing, and I was like, I don't know, but except for Strider, I don't think the Braves have really been doing that with their pitchers so much, you know.
Right.
So I made that reference to Raiders of the Lost Ark, but I couldn't describe the scene well enough. But if you've seen the movie, you know, where Harrison Ford's in the front of the truck and he actually crawls his way back, you know, under the truck to the back, and then he kicks the Nazi out, and the Nazi tries to do the same thing in his first movie. The rod breaks and he gets run over, you know. And I was like, you know, I was making the parallel between like that's the Reds of the Nazi, and which would be appropriate, right? Because Marge Schott was the owner at one time.
Oh yeah,
But,
I heard the reference and I got it the other podcast, but no, it really makes more sense. Multi-layered, well played.
You know, because I don't know if you want to be extending Hunter Green. You know, I'd rather risk losing him in free agency than signing a guy that has no track record and throws really hard. You know what I mean? Like, what are the chances that he stays healthy?
Yeah, they should be extending Ellie De La Cruz, you know.
Yeah, I mean, he's on the IL right now, and that's not like an elbow issue or anything like that. But still, it's you know, I don't know. I just don't. We'll see if the Reds are. I mean, they have a ton of young talent coming up, but we'll see. We'll see.
Well, Votto went 2 for 3 with a home run today, guys.
Well, they got he's reinvigorated. And plus, he knows there's a kid down there who can take his spot in a heartbeat. His name is Encarnacion Strand.
Do you think so it doesn't matter to you that he had a 333 slugging in his 22 rehab games? You think it was just Votto doing Votto stuff, being like, I'm just practicing? He stunk in the minors.
We'll see. He just like came out and said he had this like little press conference with the media when he came back and stuff like that. I caught a glimpse of it online, and he's looking to be an add to this lineup, you know, instead of like just being like a guy that's there. He's coming back and he's wanting to participate because these kids are doing so good on their own. He needs to feel relevant. And if he's always on the IL, he's not doing shit. It's like this is the best opportunity he has to making a run for it since 2007.
And this is going to be.
Think about how long that guy's been in the fucking league.
There's almost no way that this is not his last year. So it'd be great. It'd be great to go out like that for him.
Here's the thing, though: are the Reds going to want him?
He's
this year.
He's there until the end of time, man. He'll be. This is his last year, but he'll be there as long as he wants.
They already got a job lined up.
Basically, move him to DH and have our Encarnacion Strand come up and play first.
I saw that he's already got a job lined up after baseball. I guess like 10 years ago, a long time ago, he said that when he gets done playing, he'd like to either be a crossing guard or a bus driver and a school bus driver. And they had.
You know what the funny thing is? He's just a funny guy.
They had video of him behind the wheel of a school bus, like he really did it. And that's that. Joey Votto's going to be the school bus driver. So a year from now, he could be, well, not now because it'll be summer, but he could be a school bus driver.
He could be the prime minister of Canada.
I like the guy.
You know, they explained to him that it doesn't pay very well, but according to him, he's actually got some money saved up from his playing days. So he's not concerned about it.
Hey, if Jerry Springer can be the mayor of Cincinnati, I'm sure Joey Votto can.
Sure.
School bus driver.
Very easily.
He can do both.
All right.
Well, let me.
And by the way, Joey Votto is a lollygagger.
Yes, he is. He probably won't be for very long, but he is a lollygagger.
Well, if he keeps hitting home runs. He was fantasy gold with that on-base percentage. Even when he slumps, he's good.
I traded for him last year, but it's been a bust. It's been a bust.
Yeah, did we do that deal?
Was that? Yeah.
I think we did that deal.
Yeah, I got Votto, Brian Reynolds, Shane Bieber, and who was the other guy? And Grandal?
Yeah.
Grandal. And you got Goldschmidt, and maybe somebody else too.
Yeah. Not bad. Reynolds having a good year.
Yeah.
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 I mean, the rest of the league disagrees, but I don't know.
You want to talk about any of these names? These are our top guys here. Acuna still on top. Look at this. We've got 324 points for the year. We're really, it's not the beginning of the year anymore. It's like we're really getting toward the middle now.
Look at how Ohtani just jumped up to number 2.
Second best hitter.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
The other thing too is I had what's his name? Alonso up there, and then all of a sudden he got hurt, so he fell down to like 30. So we'll see how things go, see if Alonso can get himself back up there. But if he does, I would have like 3 people up here in the front screen.
Hey, Lou, would you mind if after we go through this or at some point during it, you flip over to add points per game for these guys?
Yeah, how do I do that?
Because
Corbin Carroll, what a fucking player he is.
Just because you lose guys that are on IL and stuff this way. So yeah, if you just switch the scoring from
we'll do it now.
Just switch the stats to average 20, wherever it's at. Season average. Second one down.
Per game?
Yeah, per game. I think it's an interesting way to look at it. It's a little different than the last few, just you'll see a little bit of different stuff.
Well, Spencer
yeah,
Horwitz.
There's trash up here, but
Well, yeah, look how many times he's batted.
Spencer Horwitz is number 2 on this list.
There's some garbage up there, but there is a point to it.
Corey Seager. Yeah, look at Acuna. Who would you rather have? I mean, Acuna or Horwitz? I'm going Horwitz here.
How about Yordan Alvarez going down? How do you feel about that? I saw that earlier, and I was like, ouch. That's
sad.
A big loss.
Sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that during the predicted when we were looking at the standings and stuff like that. Obviously, the model doesn't take into account that Alvarez is out.
That's right. I got Yanier Diaz. He's he's a Yordan Alvarez light.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
It's funny though. I think
The Knockers got some players up here. Look at this. They got 4 guys there: Adam Duvall, Aaron Judge, Christopher Morel, and Fernando Tatis Jr.
And the thing, you won't see those guys because all of them have spent time either suspended or on the injured list.
On the minors.
Yeah.
Right. Or in the minor. Yeah.
It's funny. I think that you have handled Alvarez's absence better than the Astros have. So kudos to Satch.
Thanks. It's Dusty Baker, so you just kind of take it for what it is. Dusty ain't going to change for nobody.
Dusty's getting rusty. Can't see it. Well, it's like the same names that we've seen on here. Soto's at the bottom of the page, the top half of the page. And
Soto's moving his way up.
Corbin Carroll still, what is he? I think he was 6 last week, so he's actually moved up a notch.
Yeah, he's
got Satch. Satch is Matt Olson. Who else has Satch got? More than that. Goldschmidt. Yeah, I guess that trade worked out okay. Wander. Daddy's Juan Soto.
Look at that. Planet Sombrero's got some guys up here. Look at Acuna Jr., Corbin Carroll. Then you go down and you've got Jose Ramirez down there just under Juan Soto. It's like, man, we've got some guys that can put up some points.
Adley's not going to be on here because he's a catcher. Just look at the catchers. Adley's on top.
Like, Jesus Christ, got the best catcher, too.
Look at that. Jonah Heim, second. Sean Murphy for
God,
7.
I wish I would have kept him. Jesus Christ, man.
Now
what
look at
was I
these.
thinking?
This is where I feel like the Mets, right? Rushman's like $6 or $7. I think so. I think Heim's a $1 guy, maybe. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But I know these guys are like $50, right? 50 and 40 or something like that. Yeah. So I've got 2 guys in the top, 7. Oh, good for me. But, I spent
You spent most of your money on him.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. Like the Mets, it's like I'm the Mets, except I'm actually doing better.
If you look next
the
year,
Mets,
Dalton
these guys would be
Varsho's
like
not
on
going to
the next
qualify a
page.
catcher.
Oh boy.
You don't think so? I mean, what's
Has
his
he been
name went
catching?
down? Who went down was Jansen back, and then
Oh,
Kirk.
no,
Kirk got
Alejandro
hurt.
Kirk.
Yeah, Kirk went down. So no, but Jansen, it's funny. I guess we're saying that Kirk started off great and then tailed off, and Jansen was the exact opposite. So Jansen's actually been doing better than Kirk now, anyway. But
No, Kirk had a bad year. He's had a bad year.
Uh-oh, what did I do?
I don't know. I think he did for the week.
Are you?
We should go over to the pitching side of it, though.
Actually, I went for 2 weeks here.
Ah.
That was like your suggestion a few weeks ago.
Oh yeah, that just shows you somebody's been
lately.
on fire.
So Otani's on fire. Yeah, Corbin Carroll's second. Tatis, Ramirez, Acuna, Albies, Corey Seager, Michael Harris, Schwarber. So he's finally coming around, right?
You got Christian Walker down there, fucking coming up there, platinum sombreros.
Justin Turner's had a nice year, Garcia. It's funny. The Braves sent the young shortstop down. Von Grissom? No, is that his name?
Yeah.
They
And
started
Arcia was like undrafted. Nobody wanted him.
Yeah, they started the year with Arcia. He got hurt and they called Grissom up, but Arcia's back and he's been doing great. So they knew what they were doing. Or they got lucky. I don't know. Tyro Estrada, Eddie Rosario, who was the player of the week last week for the Cows, and Christian Walker for Sombreros.
And I got Ryan McMahon down there.
Good, solid player.
You know what? He's the one that I'm glad I kind of went on in the waiver wire and picked him up in the offseason. I think I got him off of Big McBride's.
Who was it?
Ryan McMahon. He was like 11 or 12 points, 12 bucks,
Yeah, he was the player of the week recently.
Yeah, no, he's been actually pretty good this last month.
Yeah, and you stuck with him. He had a rough start, but he's hitting it now.
Thing is, man, I've gotten rid of other people a lot of other times, and then fucking just have the guy take off, and I gave up too quick. So I tend to give my guys a little bit more time to see what's going on. They ain't doing it by the All-Star break. I don't know.
You can see McClanahan's on top. So that was an excellent, Doug made McClanahan a priority, and he's got to be overjoyed. I'm sure that he would.
I was willing to go way up on him, but
I'm sure he'd be happy enough if McClanahan was, on this page, at the top half of the page, but he's number 1.
You remember what his bidding ended at? Was it like around 50 or 60?
For who?
For McClanahan in the draft, and then he had a match and then he cost.
He got to like between 15 and 20. I thought he got him, right?
Oh, it was more than that.
Was it? I don't know if I
believe it was a lot more than that.
I'll tell you guys. I got it on a tab here. I'll pull it up. You gotta have a bookmark for the values of the auction if you're gonna make as many trades as I do.
Yeah.
Can't keep going back to the email every time.
You saw I sent out about a month ago a revision because I made the mistake I make almost every year with putting those guys as X guys when they aren't.
$14, guys.
Yeah,
that's
what I thought. Yeah.
$14, Shane McClanahan.
He must have came up later in the draft. I thought he went for way more than that.
The starting pitchers didn't go for much, and he wouldn't.
Well,
he wouldn't.
This was after we stole some of his players, right? And then
it doesn't matter.
Even
if we would have took him up to that, he still would have had enough money left over to match him. He just would have been paying a huge price for him this year.
Yeah, it's too bad we didn't ask Dougie just for a couple of nominations, or just nominate as high as guys first he'd be doing even better this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's, extenuating circumstances. We were all scrambling, especially us three guys here, plus a few others. But I think that's what it was. A few of his other guys got poached. So everybody was like, how good of a deal am I going to get on this guy? And so, we got burned, and good for Dougie. He gets a deal.
Yeah. No, he's been doing well considering, not being able to make the draft and stuff. So he's sitting in the middle of the pack.
He could stay
better
where
than
he
I am.
is. He could stay where he is, but he's going to have to exchange the IP overage for and make up his games. So there's a path for him, but like I said, that model doesn't assume that you're going to make up your underages. So it has that that middle of the pack that I talked about, baked, Bizzotti and Knockers, was it? That they're going to fall in some of the teams like Cows and Sombreros are going to pass them. That's that's just as of June 19th. So things can change drastically.
How about fucking Marcus Stroman?
Third.
Yeah. He's definitely benefited from a really good infield.
I don't mind cocky guys as long as they back it up,
Yeah, he is cocky as fuck. You know what I think though? I think he gets traded at the deadline and gets a massive haul for his ass the way he's pitching right now.
There was an article about
and the fact that he's only got 1 year left on his contract.
I think
they're talking extension.
Huh?
Oh, go ahead, Lou. Sorry.
Well, I think the article was siding with. Remember, you had said that you thought he's going to get traded, and I was like, well, at some point the Cubs have to keep some of these guys. They got to fill a staff, especially if they want to contend in a pretty easy division. But the article, I think, was siding more with you. They think that it's more likely that Stroman will be traded. I'm still going to say that he's not. But if they trade
I don't think
him,
he is.
Well, here's the thing, though. He can opt out of this year at the end of the season.
If they trade him, that's really bad news, I think, for Cubs fans, because I don't know when are you going to contend that? When's the perfect time? I mean, I think they have enough now. If you add pieces to it, they can win the Central. I mean, that's a really, except for the AL Central, that's the most winnable division there is. I mean,
I think you're going to see Bellinger get traded off. I see Tachman getting traded off. If they're not going to do it, these are pieces that everybody else can use and stuff like that. I mean, they're gonna like,
Tachman is the kind of guy they should just keep, because you're going to get a bag of balls for him, and he might be good, but nobody else is going to give you anything for him.
So their base is going to be it's going to be Happ, Suzuki, Horner, Merv is coming in, Amaya behind the plate. That's going to be your new core.
Because they're not going to trade
Justin Steele at pitching, and they're trying to get that Wisniewski kid together, but I don't know if that's ever going to happen.
Yes, why would they trade anybody away when they're 3.5 games back?
Yeah,
with the Reds
the thing
and Pirates and Brewers
that would be bullshit,
But the next 3 weeks are going to dictate what the fuck they do. Next 3
weeks. But the North Side's not going to do a white flag trade like the White Sox did.
No, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying if they do have to trade at the deadline, I mean, who knows? It really depends on what they've got in the minors right now that's ready to come up.
Jeff, you got 4 guys on this top 25 pitching. That's twice as many as you should have. On my calculation, that's pretty good.
I see Zach Gallen. That's it.
Yeah, I like scrolling down. So when you get down there, you got Kyle Gibson and Justin Steele and Shohei Ohtani, the pitcher, as well. I mean, that's not bad. That's a good starting staff.
Yeah, but if you look at it, I still am kind of in the middle of the road of pitching all across the board.
Yeah, you got to have depth, I guess.
I did pick Kyle Gibson up a little while back and just held on to him. Thank you for ever dropped them.
I dropped him because he was doing too well.
Yeah.
You're going to break my model. You got to go.
I have a rule,
Right. It's fair.
Well, let's look
Logan Webb signed that extension, and he's proven good for. I sat him against on Sunday against the Dodgers, but he had a good start. I just didn't get the points. I didn't
I
need
think
him,
you
but
would take that, going in the auction. If
I-
I said in the middle of June, Webb's going to be number 7 in baseball from starting pitching.
oh,
You'd be
heck
like,
yeah, I
okay,
would.
yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, and I thought he'd be good. I just, it's going to be ups and downs, but yeah, he's solid, man. He's good. He's definitely their ace for
How
sure. No
about
doubt.
Kevin Gausman? Gausman's looking good.
Yeah, he's been good for a few years now. He's just one of those names that was so bad for so long.
Well, he was like in the Orioles. Sometimes the Orioles, there's certain guys the Orioles can't work with.
Well, new regime,
Arrieta
I
was
think they're
one.
good
I
now.
think Gausman was the other one. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
they were really highly touted pitchers, but
Well, there's like
couldn't catch on over in Baltimore.
But they got a new regime now, so
there's some teams that have turned
Yeah,
pitchers around,
regime.
right? Like obviously Tampa, Houston, San Fran's one of them. So then,
Yeah.
if the guy goes away from San Fran, do you think like he's going to completely forget whatever he learned at San Fran, and when he goes to the
Right.
it doesn't make
right,
sense,
no,
right?
exactly. Gossman's exactly that point.
Yeah.
They fixed them up. They got them good. They tend to send guys off for increasing their miles per hour. They do the weighted ball program. They're on the West Coast. They get Driveline involved and stuff. So they tend to get all these middle-aged pitchers and get them up a few miles per hour.
Yeah, I mean, the only question would be like if it's just for 1 year, then you can wonder if it's just a 1 year anomaly or if it's like a real permanent change, But other than that, I wouldn't think that the guy that picks up a new pitch or learns something or no, you should throw this more or you should throw here, why would he forget that when he leaves town? Like he shouldn't forget
The other part of that though is that they always have bad defense lately in San Francisco. So they always have bad fielding lately. So it's like
they have a bunch of ex-Mets playing different positions there, that
right.
weren't known for their fielding. Conforto is a decent outfielder, but Flores and JD Davis are not known for their gloves. I like them both very much, by the way. I like those guys, but
Sorry. Whew.
All right, let's look at the last couple of weeks with pitchers. I just think it's funny, like Mitch Keller, who I would have thought would have fallen off this list, even onto the next page. He's still up there. He's not going anywhere yet. I hope Merrill Kelly and Evaldi don't fall, but I'm almost 100% certain that they will. And look at a new face, Bryce Elder. That's the difference that's one of the big differences between the Mets and the Braves. The Mets don't have any Bryce Elders or Spencer Striders to call up. They don't have anybody that I know of in the minors. If there's a pitcher on the Mets that comes up and does well, that's a surprise. That's like a DeGrom or something because, I think I talked about it, a month ago, whatever. DeGrom was never on the radar. He was just like one of the guys in the list, but no one was ever excited about him. But anyways, so there's nobody in the minors that I know of right now the Mets could call up. Certainly nobody that's going to be like Bryce Elder or Strider or the Mariners guys. I mean, I don't know why the Mets are completely bereft of anybody that could actually step into the rotation from the minors, but they are, I think.
Hey, you want to hear a good name for a pitcher?
Sure.
Packy Naughton.
Say again?
Packy Naughton.
Oh yeah, Packy
Naughton.
Yeah.
Packy Naughton.
Yeah. He's a Red Sox, right?
Yeah. Well, he belongs in Boston. That's great.
Yeah.
In Boston.
He should.
It sounds like he should be. I don't know where he grew up.
We do the Sam Adams ads. This is Packy Naughton.
Yeah, but anyway, he's undergoing Tommy John. He was a pitcher for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Packy Naughton.
Yeah.
He's not had much of a career yet, but
great name. He's got a
Packy Naughton. That sounds like something from back in the 1920s.
He's got an 80 grade name.
So look at this.
Past
2 weeks, starting pitchers, top 2, both sons Spear, Taijuan Walker, and Andrew Abbott. Taijuan Walker, who the Mets non-tendered last fall. Meaning, they didn't even get a draft pick if another team signed him. I don't know. I don't understand that.
Hunter Green just went down.
Yeah, he went on the IL.
The Andrew Abbott's.
Look at Kyle Hendricks back from the dead.
No shit, right?
Hamler Spear, he's
damn near threw a no-hitter.
He's picking up all the retreads. Well, Abbott's a young kid, but
I think it was probably about 2 weeks ago that I said that I was off the Kyle Hendricks train. So,
and that's it. Hamler Spear, he's always plays the hot hand. Julio Teheran. Right. He's a hot hand guy.
I'm still providing good information to people. Just do the opposite of what I say, and help your team.
The one thing you never know with Spear is if they've been on his team for how long,
Yeah.
Like he could have just picked him up. I mean, you can say that about me too, I suppose, but
Zach Wheeler, like when you get off to a bad start, or not a bad start, but not a good start, then everybody thinks of the narratives that apply. Oh, he threw all those innings in the postseason. That's why I don't like those stories very much, because it's a possibility, but it doesn't mean that that's why.
Right. No, that's true. But I mean, he picked up Hendricks on the 16th, so 3 days ago, right? He was sitting out there for everybody.
Oh yeah. Well, Hendricks was throwing fucking bullshit.
McBride's got, besides Wheeler, they got Giolito and Walk on this list. I love this Waka thing. Any team in baseball could have had Walk in the offseason. And I guess the reason that they didn't is because he wanted 2 years. I don't think anybody wanted to give him 2 years. But not like he was some great pitcher, but like there's a lot of teams that could have used him, including the Cubs, right?
He eats innings. That's the thing, and that's another Spear thing. He dropped the Phillies guy and then picked him back up. Taijuan Walker he dropped on June 8th, and they picked him back up on the 13th. Right? Oops, I shouldn't have done that.
No.
He slipped it right under the radar.
Right?
I think we've all had drops like that. Like when I dropped Estevez, it made sense because that other guy, Quijada, was still around. Carlos Estevez, that Jeff has. It makes sense. And then about 2 or 3 days later, you're like, oh, that I want him back, or whatever it was. It was, but it was too late. It was too late, But
that's what Fab is. It's oh shit money. It's either oh shit, I can't believe they dropped this guy, or oh shit, I shouldn't have dropped that guy. You get the players in the heart for a little bit.
One star can make a difference, or just one other guy getting injured makes a big difference too. Like, that eliminated all the uncertainty. Because at that time, I don't think I had Diaz. I think I had Lang for Detroit. And I would rather have, at that point, I thought the Angels would win more games than the Tigers. So I'd rather have Estevez than Lang, all other things being equal. But if I wasn't 100% sure of his closer role, then I went for Lang, And then I dropped Lang and got Alexis Diaz. But
so you haven't been paying attention to Lang, but he's got blown up twice in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, so, I think I did.
As much as you were jealous of me before, don't be jealous now.
Well, I wasn't. I liked Diaz, and I knew that. At that time, I thought the Reds were a crappy team, and now I guess they're just not a crappy team. So that worked out well. But that one was just based on what pitcher I like better,
Hey, let's look at the saves leaders.
What is that?
Let's look at the saves leaders.
Okay.
Like saves and holds.
I don't know if this is all pitchers. Yeah.
Sorry, not to interrupt, but
yeah, I can't do saves holds.
No, unfortunately you can't.
You want to do for the season, right?
Let's do all players.
Or you could do relief pitcher and then just ignore the starters. I don't know.
Well, saves will do that. So here's the saves.
Yeah, Let's Play has got both the top dogs right there.
Remember, John was like, guys don't look at.
I had a hold of him and I didn't keep him.
Kimmler was like, you guys don't look at relievers enough. So we're like, oh, I can sort of like that. And then I was like, oh no wonder. He's got the top 2 guys. First, he wanted.
Dude, I gave up on Alexis Diaz really quick early this season. There's one for you.
Alexis and Bednar and Seawald. So those are my three guys. You know, I think I lead the league in saves and hold points. So I'm
It's
doing
not everything though. I mean, you look at somebody like Pierce Johnson for Colorado. Yeah, he's got 12 saves, but he's got 66 points.
He
You know, it's
doesn't have.
not the end all and be all to get saves. I
Oh
mean,
yeah, I know.
you know, I mean, we know that it's just, you know, it's the only way we can sort here. But
Yeah, I'll be right.
The reason he wasn't, there was two reasons why he wasn't desirable, right? One was that Bard was coming back as soon as he got over his anxiety issues. And two, he pitches in Colorado. That sucks, you know.
I gotta go let the dog out. I'll be right back.
Okay, you don't want to have those like 2/3 of an inning, 4 earned run outings from your reliever, you know.
Jeff, who lets the dogs out?
But anyways, yeah. So we're.
Oh man.
So you don't have guys in this list because you stream your closers.
I traded them. I traded Felix Bautista to the Cows. He's got to be up there, right? I know he's pretty high on points.
Oh, Batista, I'm looking for your team, but I bet you.
Yeah. No, I traded him to the Cows. Felix Bautista, I traded it to the Cows. Because I had picked up Raciel Iglesias in a deal with the Sombreros because he had too many closers, and he didn't want to move Hendricks, so he traded me.
Is Devin Williams, Hader, and who else?
With who? He had Liam Hendricks coming back. He had Liam Hendricks and I think he had somebody else too. I don't remember now because he had a lot of guys. It was like not just 4 guys. He had like 5 closers or something. Somehow coming out of the draft, he had like, how can you play all these studs kind of deal.
Yeah. So Pierce Johnson, 40-18 is not very dominant for a closer.
Nah.
Look at this, 31-1 strikeouts to walks. Jeez.
Wow, who's that?
That's Bednar.
Oh yeah.
I don't look at the stats this closely. You know, like once I have a position that's like settled, I'm not watching Bednar so closely, you know, as long as he keeps the job. But I didn't know that. Jeez.
Yeah, that's
I knew he was good last year, and they were kind of sharing that role with. He was sharing the role with Chris Stratton, I think his name is. Stratton is not good. Stratton's like the opposite. Like he's like totally not.
Yeah, he was a setup guy. They just didn't want to commit to anybody. But by the middle of the year,
he hated that. I mean, some of that might come from like what arbitration, right? Like keeping his.
100%.
Yeah, I hate that. You know, they should refigure how they think of arbitration with these guys. Like count holds is something, and you know, so it's just not. It doesn't get ridiculous. Like you're purposely using the old guy at closer who's already established a certain base, you know, and this young guy who's like way more dominant, you're like pushing him down, you know.
Saves and holds, and to a lesser extent wins are stupid.
Yeah.
I just don't like.
Yeah, we talked about it last week. I mean, saves and holds are terrible stats, but they're important for us to include because it's the only measure in an available stat anyway that we can account for the fact that these guys are pitching innings that are, you know, more high leverage, you know, and that's what saves and holds are good at doing. But
yeah,
as a stat, I mean, they're all, you know, they're arbitrary. I hate what is it, the 3-run thing? I mean, you know, it's like they're ugly stats, you know.
Yeah, but quality starts nowadays isn't much better, and it's just like, I don't know.
Let's take a look and see who's got the most holds. Can you click on that one?
They're going to have to reconfigure the quality start because, you know, people aren't going 6 anymore. It's like if you go 6 with any amount of earned runs, that's like probably considered a quality start, you know?
Right.
So they're going to have to be like, you know, what, 5, anything like over 5 would be a quality start. Okay. This is sorted by holds. I guess you guys can see the whole thing, but I can't. It gets cut off for me, so I can only. I can see the names anyway, but I can't see the
No,
actual.
just this is a good indicator on who's being used.
Wait, I could do that. Nah. Oh, I don't like that.
He finally gave up some runs, but that Yanir Cano guy was pretty cool for a while.
Yeah.
He's still pretty amazing.
He's got
4 runs in
168
36
points. I think
innings.
he's like the top fantasy point getter, like in the holds area at the top.
So look at Steven Wilson and Strzelecki, they're out there. These guys are, third and fourth in holds for the year. Pick them up, guys. Go ahead. Drop your drop Josh Hader and pick up Steven Wilson. I think that's what you should do. My opinion, anyway.
Or
None
you
of them
can,
have the starter tag next to him either.
or you can stream them like I do, man. You can stream them. You got an off day. You instead of picking up a bench outfielder, pick up a guy that's like leading the league in holds is playing, who hasn't pitched the day before. That's the other thing. You got to check to see if they've pitched 2 days in a row or something. But that's like one little click, and you're like, all right. So it's not like a lot of work, Short for the hold guys. Look and see if they're playing on a slow day like today, and then you go, he pitched 2 days in a row. Okay, next guy. I'm not doing like super rocket science here.
Oh
no. I mean, if you follow a team, when a guy is not available. So it's definitely a real thing to do. Well, I mean, what is the most they go in a row? Like 2 days in a row? 3 would be the absolute tops, right? But
yeah, usually they try not to do, but you'll see guys do 3 in a row. But usually they usually try to not do more than two days in a row. But you'll see it.
The Mets, they'll do 2 days in a row if they have to, but the plan would usually be that if you pitch yesterday, you're not going to pitch today, unless it just works out like that. Like shit, we got another tight lead here. Well,
Yeah, his ERA is 0.99 on the year.
wow.
Cano?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
how about these other 2 guys that nobody's really heard of? Danny Colombe. Yeah, at Baltimore, and then the guy below him, Justin Topa from Seattle. Boy, that's 2 guys flying under the radar a little bit.
So let's look at them. They do 24 innings pitched, and the one thing they don't show on here, unfortunately, is how many games they've been in. So you can't really see how many, if they're a long reliever or if they're a short guy. But you can kind of guess that it holds.
Here's games.
There you go. So yeah, there you go. So when he comes in, he's getting used for 1 inning only, and he's getting 13 holds. That's great.
Danny over here has like 33 strikeouts and 24 in a third inning.
Yes, I mean you see a lot on the pace. Well, you guys know strikeouts to walks, and then you look and see, how many innings pitched are they. You want a guy who's going like 1 inning and he's getting the whole chances,
Yeah.
Boom.
Wow.
They're just points sitting out there.
Carl Edwards has the least impressive strikeout to walk on this page. So, it's so funny, like if you've been in like fantasy leagues for a long time, it's hard for me to get used to these strikeout to walk ratios because they all look so good, but it's only like even Narice's is not so great, but like there was a time when I would have been like, yeah, that's good. But now compared to all these other guys in the page, well, that's not so good. And then
right.
This one would always have been considered kind of, mediocre.
Right, exactly.
In today's game, it's just not acceptable, probably, right? I mean,
you got to have at least 3 times the strikeouts that you do walks.
These high leverage guys, I think so. Yeah, it used to be 2, right? But now I think you've got guys, you got to go 3, like you said.
Yeah, 3, and then the really good guys have 4 or 5 strikeouts to a walk. If you're like the elite guys.
That strikeout divided by walks is like a quick way that you can just do it really quick like this I'm doing. But really a better thing is like that K minus BB percentage. I think that's really
you read my mind, Lou. I was going to bring that up too. I wish that was a stat that was easy to see on here. Because K percentage minus walk percentage really.
Yeah, that's a really good one. And you can do it, but just not as quickly as this. This one, I can just take the cursor right in between these 2 numbers and get a quick idea,
Yeah, but if you're taking a quick bathroom break and you're just trying to pick up a guy, you just, you got to have a shorthand. For me, I just am like, okay, whatever the base of ball number is by times 3 and compare that to the Ks, and that kind of does it for me.
But it's different with starters, right? I mean, because like you can see that there's starters with impressive strikeout numbers and then there's guys with mediocre numbers, like, and they get it done. I don't know if it's just per chance, like just by luck for a while, but there are a number of starters that you can,
No, they're usually better pitchers, so some of them can induce ground balls when they want to. Some of them can pull something out and use a pitch that they haven't been using because they're kind of spread themselves out over the game and they got to strike out when they need to. Things that reliever doesn't want to do. They're just in there for an inning and they're just like, I'm bringing you out everything I got,
Bless you, Jeffrey.
Thank you. So Phil, you've gotten home runs from Diaz, the catcher, and Goldschmidt.
You have Diaz for Colorado?
No, Houston.
Houston catcher.
I was on him last year, but he finally's getting a shot with Yanir, with the other Diaz.
What's the catcher Diaz's first name?
Yanir.
Yanir Diaz?
Yain. E.R. I don't know.
Lou, you have gotten a home run from Jorge Soler and Mike Yastrzemski.
How about that? All right.
And then I have gotten home runs out of Bobby Witt Jr. I got 2 out of Soto, and it's still going. It's there in the bottom of the 6th, so he's got another at bat. Maybe he can get 3. And then Andrew Vaughn.
I knew you were headed this way, Jeff, but I appreciate you going through ours first.
What are you talking about?
You're having a good day.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not spending anything on pitching, and I'm still doing good on the hitting side. So I gotta love that. Lindor has got 12 points today for the Brides.
Hey.
And the Mets.
That's right. So
yeah, they won 11-1 over Houston.
Hey, they called back up
5 RBIs. You can bitch all you want about Lindor. When he has a game like this, though, you don't mind.
No.
So Alec Thomas got called back up for the Diamondbacks. You guys interested?
Oh, is that one of your guys?
No, he's a free agent.
Who got called up?
He got called up for the Diamondbacks. They sent down somebody else, but yeah, he was good last year and then stunk this year.
I missed the name. Who was it?
Alec Thomas.
Alec Thomas?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
First day back, 2 for 4 with a dinger.
Are you trying to sell? Is there somebody on my team you want? I think
no, he's a free agent. I don't think he has enough pop. But
in April, when we were on here, we were talking about the Diamondbacks. Like some people were saying that they would be like the Orioles last year, and I just said like I just didn't see it because of the pitching. They're tethered to Bumgarner. Well, they released Bumgarner. So that was a good idea.
Yeah.
But they still are trotting Zach Davies out there. And even when Davies is as good as he can be, it's a real tightrope act, isn't it, with him? I mean, like they need another starting. They probably need 2. If they're really serious about this, like they need probably 2 starting pitchers to come in. I don't know.
They need that Brandon Pfaadt to come up and be good. He stunk when he came up for me. I dropped him.
But they can't be in a pennant race and having Davies out there. I mean, I've had Zach Davies, and it was probably years ago. And he wasn't like a Cy Young candidate back then, even. So I don't know. I know his last start was bad, so I'm like short. This is a short-term analysis, but he's no good, right? I mean,
yeah.
If he's on somebody's beer league team, I feel bad. I'm not trying to send him out, but that's it though. I mean, otherwise they could, they could maybe. I mean, like the Mets won the national, the Mets won the World Series in '69. Why can't the Diamondbacks win the West? Even with the Dodgers and Padres, but they can't do it.
And the Giants
adding some starting pitching, right? Even their bullpen is a little suspect, right? So.
Yeah, Zach Davies has a 7.11 ERA right now.
Oh my God, it's even worse than I thought.
But his xERA is like 4.2. He's had some bad luck.
All right. I listened to that.
He's had some bad luck.
It's just what I guess when I have a preconceived notion about certain pitchers, and then they have a bad outing, that I just feel like, oh, come on, what are you doing? You know, so, I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, his K minus BB is only 9.4%. So you got to strike guys out. He doesn't really do that. He stunk when he.
Other than that, they're looking good. But I mean, do you think they're not going to win the division, right? I mean, they can't do it with that staff, and I guess even their bullpen's not the greatest either. So nice story, but nice story that'll
maybe they'll talk to Kansas City and pick up a certain ex-Yankee.
Roll this. But they need some start. They need at least one starter. They need two, but you're saying maybe one of those young guys can come up and fill that role. Move Davies to middle relief.
Yeah, they got. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think they can get a wild card. They ain't gonna win that division, but they can get a wild card. Why not?
Yeah, I thought that was nuts with the Mets and the Padres and all these teams, but the Mets can't even. The Mets are in fourth, in that division. Like the Marlins and the Phillies are ahead of them.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. Their bullpen's okay in Arizona, and they got Gallen and Kelly up front, but they definitely really need to get somebody better else in there.
I mean,
Ryan
Kelly's
Nelson,
scary too. I mean,
these are bums. Zach Davies,
they can't
bums.
They can't count on Kelly to do what he's done so far either. So you're going to have regression from Kelly, and geez, that they need a lot. It's just not going to happen, right? I mean, a month from now, that nice story will probably be all done.
Gallen was never on my radar until I saw him pitch in New Orleans. And that guy threw smoke. I was like, whoa. And I looked and saw he was a free agent. He was on the 40-man roster. I guess he was traded from St. Louis to fucking the Marlins. Yeah. The Kicks are Marlins.
Nice when you see these minor leaguers, especially like if it's a team that you follow. So when I saw like the Mets AA guys playing Connecticut, I almost caught a line drive from Reese Havens. He was a second baseman who I was sure his numbers were good. I was sure he was going to be a all-star level, or near all-star level second baseman for the Mets. Of course, I don't even know if he ever came up to the majors, won for even a game. But this line drive came right at me and it bounced off my hand. I didn't have a glove, and I was so pissed off because I could have gotten if I had recoiled a little bit, but I just was like a wall and it bounced off my hand.
Nice. The funny thing is, the only person that tagged up Zach Gallen that day was Robles Garcia. Remember he was on the Cubs for a little bit. That kind of like a utility player from like the Italian league and shit. This was like probably fucking 3 years ago.
The Iowa Cubs, do they play in Dubuque? Is that right? Or Des Moines? Des Moines?
Des Moines, I think.
Yeah.
No. Peoria was the A-ball team.
That's what I was going to ask.
Wait, how do I not know this?
Where are the other minor league teams? So that's what
Peoria is like the Cardinals A-ball team.
Is it Iowa City?
Iowa City, yeah.
That's what, AAA?
Yep. And then AA is in Tennessee.
Oh, okay.
The Tennessee Smokies. I don't know if it wouldn't be the Chattanooga Lookouts because that's in Chattanooga. So Tennessee, it could be that could be the Knoxville, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't think it's Nashville. Well, no, it is Nashville.
Correction. It's Des Moines for the Iowa Cubs. My mistake. You guys
Yeah,
are right.
AAA.
Des Moines.
It's nice when you can have your AAA and AA close by. You know, those are.
The S's are silent.
I mean,
Yeah.
when you go to a minor league game, you don't care who wins, so that kind of takes away a lot of the. You know, like I don't care if the New Britain Red Sox back in the day, you know, win or anything like that. But you go there and you can watch some like young players, and you know you've read about them, so that makes it a little more exciting, you know. But it's hit or miss, right? Sometimes you see Zach Gallen, sometimes you see Ike Davis and Reese Havens, and Ike Davis at least made the majors, you know. But I don't think Reese Havens, who I really liked, even played a game in the majors, you know. I don't even know, like, what happens to some of these guys. You always think of injury as being the reason that, but some guys, I don't think. I think he was injured, but he just never panned out. You know, you know, even when you put up great numbers in rookie ball and you know A ball, no guarantee of anything. Especially, I think that jump to AA, that's the one. That's the big jump, right? Because there's only one AA team, one AAA team for each major league team, you know. And whereas A ball, we used to have like 3 or 4, right? You had short season, you had low A, high A.
High A, low A, rookie ball. You could have like 2 single A teams, to be honest with you.
No, I think there's like a lot of places that have 3. The Mets used to have 3, high A, single A, and then they had the short season. Brooklyn Cyclones, that was
yeah.
Yeah.
You guys ever go to the minor league like website?
No.
I used to do that. I used to
MILB.com. It's great.
That's how I got Springer that one year.
Hold on a second. I'm gonna bring this up and I'm gonna show you guys the shit.
That's how I ended up with Springer. So the average age of a AA hitter last year, 24 at 0.2, and pitcher 24.6. So you see somebody who's 22 and tearing it up in AA, that's a guy. If they're young for the level and they're still doing it in AA, that's they could be.
Yeah,
something.
that's really important. I mean, I know in Moneyball, Billy Beane asked that question, like, how old's the guy? And he said 26, and he's like, he just passed, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's something I don't look at very much. But you look at the numbers, you got to look at how old the guy is for his level, you know.
But there's like all these videos and shit of these like prospects and stuff. You can actually watch them play, and you know, it's really fucking cool. Especially with prospects and stuff, and looking like top AAA leaders. Phillip Evans, that guy's he's a 4A player. Adele, I'm starting to think the same thing on him. I like this guy. His name means 3 cabbages.
Trey Cabbage, nice. He's like a $3. He's like a $3 bill.
Yeah. Let's see how old this dude is. He might be 32 years old and in AA. Who knows?
How old is Phillip Evans? That's not the
I'll
Mets.
be back in 2 minutes. All right.
All right, cool. 26 years old, and he is basically. Let's take a look at the stats.
Look up Phillip Evans because I think.
All right, so he's in AAA right now. He's got 19 home runs in AAA. Don't sleep on Trey Cabbage. He's also got 20 stolen bases. Don't sleep on Trey Cabbage.
At least I've heard of him. I guess because his name is so memorable. But check up that Phil Evans guy, because I remember a Phil Evans, not Phillip Evans.
Well, Phillip Evans, I think it's the same thing. It might be.
But he would be in his 30s if it's the guy I'm thinking of. So it can't.
It looks like him. Yeah, he's 30.
30. I don't know if it's the same guy.
No, it's the same guy, dude. This guy was actually on the Cubs in that.
Oh, maybe it is. He's got a lot of
New Orleans.
MLB
But I saw
at
a fucking.
Oh no, that's minor. I got it. I need my glasses. Okay, he's got 307 major league. Can you see his major league career? Where? Click on that.
I'm just bringing up his stats. No, it only gives me his minors.
This could be Mets. Where is it? Savannah. Savannah, in the Sally League. Where is it? Right here. Las Vegas. Yeah, so this is the guy I'm thinking of, I think.
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely.
Brooklyn?
He was with the Iowa Cubs in 2019. That was the year I went for my 50th birthday to New Orleans. So he was actually on the field. And Ian Happ was on that team too.
Look up his major league stats. Oh, do they have that here?
They don't have that on here.
Oh. Well, MLB, right?
Oh, wait, no, here we go. He played for Pittsburgh too. Yeah, the Mets in Pittsburgh.
Oh, so it is the guy I'm thinking. I didn't think it was.
Oh, it is. It is totally. But he's having a hell of a year, man, at the plate.
I guess I thought that was longer ago than that. 2017. I think I was thinking.
No, but you know,
really
MILB. I mean, you can find out a lot about. Like, you can see where people are. Like, look at the stats. And you can find out any league who's leading.
You were talking about the minor leagues last week, and I actually was curious about what has changed since they went to 4 affiliates for each team.
Mm-hmm.
The like the rookie ball guys, they went from making $4,000 for the season to $20,000, and then single A was like around 15 to up to like 30 or 40. It's a big difference for these guys. So what they decided to do was like, let's pay these guys better. We'll pay fewer guys more money, basically. And I don't know. I think it's a good thing.
Yeah. This guy, Lucan Baker here, man. I mean, I think that's Bake McBride's. I'm trying to figure this out. Hold on a second. Let me see.
Lucan Grosvenor Baker. How do you pronounce that name? Grosvenor?
Yeah.
Grosvenor?
So he's like serious, like, I don't even know. Maybe he's adopted or either that, or it's like a dude named Baker met somebody Eastern European and insisted on that name. It almost sounds Dutch, to be honest with you.
This kid, he's on the home run leaderboard for Toronto. He's in Double-A and he's 21 years old still. He was in Double-A last year at 20 years old. Right now he's got 17 dingers. He had 30 last year.
What's his name?
Orelvis.
He
spelled like Or Elvis.
That sounds like fucking Scooby-Doo saying Elvis.
Or Elvis, yeah. Or Elvis.
Look at these guys.
Or Elvis Martinez.
There's familiar names right there, right? Bobby Dahlbeck, Estevan Florial, the Yankees outfield prospect forever.
So here's the one I'm like waiting for right now is Christian Encarnacion Strand. The only thing that's in his way is Joey Votto. But look at that average.
Well, that's not really in his way.
Percentage. Look at his OPS. And he's in AAA Louisville right now.
Yeah.
Waiting to
cut
get
down
to
his strikeouts too.
51.
Still high, but he cut them down.
Yeah. That's all right. 25%.
It's not bad with a 10% walk rate, 10%
No,
walk
when
rate.
you got 47 RBIs and 17 home runs.
Yeah,
and a triple. So they say he's the next one after Elliot Cruz. He's the next domino to drop. So we'll see. We'll see if he can play anything other than first base. Well, it really depends on what they want to do with their DH spot. So if they want to fucking DH Joey, have this guy in there, or depending on who's the better fielder, there you go.
Look at Florial. He's still in the Yankee system, right? What's SWB? What is that?
Florial's he's AAA for the Yanks.
Wasn't Columbus their AAA? It could be old information.
Scranton Wilkes-Barre.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Scranton. Norm would know that.
Yeah. Yeah, he's hitting 300. He's got 18 dingers and he can't get a call up. even with all those injuries.
Wow. They had Aaron Hicks with his 23 OPS, and they didn't think that to give Florial a shot. He's not a spring chicken anymore.
Aaron Hicks is looking pretty good as an Oriole.
Yeah, as an
Yeah.
Oriole. He's 25 years old now. They can call him up.
Estevan Florial. Who's got him?
What's his
Somebody's
OBP?
gotta
I
have
can't
him.
see it. It gets cut off for me.
Hey, oh, by the way, I stole that other guy off the line there. So you're
Jeff, what's his OBP? It gets cut off for me.
Alec Thomas is now mine. I had a catcher that was like, I don't know, he was just burning a hole in my fucking like.
Can one of you guys tell
Reserves.
me what his OBP is in his slug?
Yeah, I'm trying. I get the same screen you do, Lou.
Oh,
I
This
can't
one?
see anymore.
Wait, you want his OBP?
Oh, wait. If I minimize it, I see it.
Right here.
95, 1,026 OPS. Yeah, that's worth a call up. I know B.E.E.R just came off the IL, but this guy was Florial was like their top, before the Volpe days. He was like one of their top prospects, and I know he
Well, so was
had some injuries
Miguel
and then he
Andujar.
non-performance, but
Miguel Andujar was the second coming of Christ too.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't trust these big market prospects. Not the New York ones, at least. Everybody gets hyped.
It's gonna be interesting to see what Jason Dominguez does in that
I mean,
fucking
like Jesus
market.
Montero when he went to the Mariners, right, in the trade or whatever. He was a catcher.
Right.
That's sneaky too. Like you have this catching prospect, and they probably know he's never going to play catcher, right? Jesus Montero was never going to be a catcher, and they knew that as a first baseman DH, he was going to have to hit twice as much as he was. So I understand what you're saying. I guess is what I'm saying.
They always think they can fix them. I don't know.
I picked up an NA guy because I saw a fucking TikTok video on him. Do you remember this guy named Blaze Jordan? He was like this kid that was like 14 years old and he was in like 400 fucking foot bombs.
You should have let Norm pick him up.
And
Holy cow,
I
right?
saw this video and shit, and then I just started looking up, and apparently he's in somebody's farm system. Hold on a second, let me.
His first name's Blaze. He's got to be a cow.
Blaze Jordan. He's on my NA roster, but he's in the Boston. Boston had drafted him. He's a meat neck. He's 6'2", 220 pounds, and he's a Mississippi boy.
He's done nothing but hit, man. He's been hitting. They just
Yeah, dude. He just crushes it. And he's like a third-round draft pick for Boston back in the day in 2020. So he was out of high school and shit. So, I mean, he's still pretty fucking young.
Did you say his name was Blaze?
Blaze Jordan.
Okay. Just making sure I heard it right.
Something tells me he's going to be more of a first baseman. I think they're gearing him more towards that. But you know what? While I got this up, I should bring up his minor league stats here.
They traded Cowser to the Cows, so maybe you could trade him Blaze, like Lou was saying.
So this year he's got 229
like,
at bats.
You laughed like Dustin Hoffman in what's the movie when they go to Vegas? Rain Man.
Oh yeah.
All right. Blaze Jordan, he's age 20. Bats right, throws right. Third baseman, first baseman, 6'2", 220. And so this year he is batted 229. He's in high A plus. 229 at bats, 37 runs, 74 hits, 125 total bases, 19 doubles, 1 triple, 10 home runs, 47 RBIs.
How old is he?
21 walks, intentional walks 3 times. Struck out 36 times in 229 at bats at 20 years old.
Yeah, sounds good.
And then he's a 323 average with a 379 on base, 546 slugging, and a 925 OPS. Blaze Jordan.
Just
Blaze
remember,
Jordan.
Moncada had a 462 on base percentage. And I think that was in AA. So you never know.
Yep. I think this guy's a baller. I don't know. I just like him.
But a 379 on base is, it's not bad, but it's not like.
Hey, as long as you're over 350, that's good with me. If you're over 350, that's where you want to be.
He is only 20. That's a appropriate level, age for the level, right?
Yep. So, yeah, he's a high A affiliate of Greenville Drive. But yeah, let's see what this guy fucking does, man. It's interesting. Interesting story.
So let me ask you guys this. I had a question.
Yes,
So
you in the back.
at some point, everybody's still chasing for fourth place, right? Because you get the most bucks next year in the auction, and you get the poaching.
Fifth.
You don't chase for it. You're trying to. No, fifth is like where you get the start of it.
Yeah. Fifth
Fourth,
is
right.
if you're the first one out of the money, that's where it's at.
It really doesn't lend itself to like selling off at the trade deadline or something, because you're still kind of shooting for it, which is the point of it, I guess.
Yeah,
I think
I don't mind. I wouldn't mind that not doing that would increase the trade motivation. That would be a good thing. What I don't like is that I don't want teams to not be motivated. I want you to always be trying to be better. Of course, it's only a little incentive. It's only a little difference between spots, but. So if you had a real windfall trade opportunity, I think it would still make sense to do that. But I'm always willing to listen to ideas of how to set up.
Remember last year we talked about rentals? Like, the idea of like, oh, okay, trade me this guy, and then he goes back to you at the end of the season, and then I pay you, I rent him from you for this year.
I have no problem with any sort of trade like that, as long as both teams are receiving consideration, right? Like that's like the basis of like contract law, right? You can't enter into a contract unless both sides are receiving something of value.
It's almost like the fucking soccer league kind of rules.
Mm-hmm.
But so I don't mind if I don't. This is what would not be okay. I've known Phil since we were 6 years old. He's never won the league. Obviously, these are fictitious parameters here, but I'm going to trade him Aaron Judge and whatever, because I want to see him win. And then he's agreed to trade me. That's not okay, because I'm not receiving any consideration. I'm only being made whole next year. But as long as I receive something that, hurts Phil next year and helps me and it helps him this year, then it's okay. So I guess it's a case by case basis, but I think we'll all know what is
in other words,
okay and what is not okay when
if you're going to do something like that, it's going to kind of cost you a little bit.
Auction bucks,
it's got to even out.
Yeah,
a minor leaguer.
Yeah, auction bucks. It could
like
be
throw
NA
somebody
guys.
someplace.
It could be an especially good keeper for next year that somehow you could do without for this season. It's complicated, but
could you just send them back at the end of the year? You're like, at the end of the year, you'll get both these guys back.
Just in itself, that would not be okay, because if I traded you Yandy, I'm in last and we're best friends since we were in first grade. I send you Yandy and my best pitch or whatever, and then the only thing I get is that I get him back next year. Then I've received
no.
I've received nothing.
Plus two other guys, or like plus my plus Spencer Strider or something.
As long as there's consideration, I think that just think of it that way. If both sides are receiving consideration, honest to goodness, consideration, which is something of value, or going to both sides. You're getting help this year, and I'm going to improve my prospects next year, then it's okay. So even a rental, even a nudge, nudge, wink, wink. It doesn't have to be under the table like that. It can be.
That's a gentleman's agreement right there, but
it doesn't even have to be like that. It can be above board, but it just has to be where both sides are receiving something of value. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the only.
Yeah. That's how they do it in that NL only league I'm in. That's what they do that all the time. So they rent the guy out, they get consideration for him, and it gives them, they get their dude back. It kind of greases the wheels because that league's really hard to trade in with salary caps and stuff. So it helps it out. I don't know that we need it, but yeah, I just wanted to double check on it, and also just wanted those people that hear the podcast hear that.
Yeah, like
they don't think I'm crazy when I bring it up.
you talked to me about that last year, and I was happy to think about it because I hadn't really thought about that. But yeah, no, I mean, I definitely want to err on the side of being permissive with trades. I don't want some lead that's difficult to trade in. But I mean, the things that people would feel are wrong, that I would agree with too. I mean, if Jeff is not getting anything out of this deal except for he's going to help you out, that's
right. No,
okay.
of course.
Yeah, that's not okay.
No, you're permissive, and I'm promiscuous with trades.
No, but as long you know what I'm saying. So I mean, as long as both sides are receiving something, I mean, obviously it's going to be in different seasons. That's fine. But a rental, just I don't care. I'm out of it. Here, you take these guys. And just give them back next year. That's not okay.
No, you got to pay for it.
Yeah, auction bucks, which was Jeff's baby, which I think is almost underutilized in the league. I think that's a wonderful way to do it.
You're talking about the waiver wire, the fab.
You can trade your fab bucks too. I limited that just based.
Like trading auction dollars. Yes.
You can trade auction dollars. You can trade fab dollars.
It's a way to balance out your trade, real easy. It's all right, 2 auction bucks. Okay,
no, that's perfect. I mean, the year that I did win, I just went nuts, and I was like, I have to. I don't care what I do for next year. I mean, I can't come this close and not win. So
well, dude, you would leave $50 fucking dollars out there every fucking year.
Was it?
It's I watched you year after year leave a bunch of money on the table because you were so busy running the league and shit that you didn't get in on certain things, stuff like that, and you ended up with a lot of money left over.
I'm not talking about that, and that was a long time ago too. I mean, it was.
Oh yeah.
I haven't done that in a while, but I'm talking about the year that it was in August, and I traded away a total of $10 next year. I would have probably, I think you should do more even, if it's the difference between you winning and losing.
Well, that's why I was going there is you've always had so much money left over for a while back there. So $10 was nothing to you to fucking just throw that, in trades and stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, but I haven't left money on the table in a long time. So in 2019, I wasn't, that wasn't part of the consideration.
Gotcha.
That's that era of my auction miscalculations was probably even before Phil got in. It's probably about that time. It's probably been 10 years.
Yeah, there's been a few years where different guys just all of a sudden ended up with a lot of money at the end.
This year was Doug.
you can have a bad auction and still spend your money if you're paying $50 for $20 guys at the end too. That doesn't help anybody to be better either, So, but that's basically what I'll do now. That's about the worst I'll do now. It's if I really do the auction wrong, at the end of the auction, I'll be spending twice as much on these guys as I should, which is, I guess, preferable to actually leaving the money on the table, but it's still not a very good way to go about it,
Yeah. Lou, I bought a cheap projector for the back room of the bar. was like $180, but you can see what's up there. It works fine. It's something we could throw up in the basement and, you know, without having to dim the lights, and we could put up something where you wouldn't have to do so much, or people would, you know, they could see the running totals, you know. We could all kind of double check it. I don't know. There's something we could work on. I bet we could find something. I know you have a system that works for you. So the first year we'd have to double check, maybe do your system and then somebody else input alongside it. But then maybe it might make something where it makes the
That's an
auction
idea.
work for you.
I could have a tab on one of my, on the file, and it would be keyed into like what I'm using. So then we would have real time updates on the dollars left and players left and max bids and all that stuff. And you could spot something that's wrong right away. Because I told you that the way that I make mistakes is usually not, and the dollar value is not wrong, but it's I use team numbers.
Yeah, the team number.
I have a brain cramp on the team number, which I try all winter to get used to. Like, you know, you're team 9, I'm team, you know, whatever, you know, and I do get used to it. You know, like all of a sudden Doug becomes team 5. I think this offseason he was team 6 or whatever. But,
you know, I mean, I've got an HDMI cable. If you can hook that into a computer and anybody's like doing like entering that in, you can see it on the TV.
Yeah, we can put something up on there, and if it's like if you got it in a Google Drive or something, they just stay on that tab, and you don't have to mess with it, and it'll show as it happens.
Yeah. If you're all
and then you don't have to do anything; it just shows it on there, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I would do that just to have more instantaneous recognition of an error, but I don't need any help, you know, for my team.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fine. It's not a big deal. It's not, you know, like what I'm doing. It's I type in 2 numbers, $11, team 2. That's it.
Right.
You know, 11, 2. That's all I do. I don't type in names or team number.
I've been trying to keep up in the Zoom, but you know, you get towards the end and you get a little like sloppy with it, or miss some guys, or you're looking something up, and so I feel like you don't get that chance to necessarily like scramble around and look up dudes as much. But I guess you just got to.
No, I don't need that. No, that's nothing for me. I mean, I'm good. I'm you know, it's been a few years I've used it like this, where it's much easier in the auction. The only thing I miss is I think Chris used to have a list of the players like in order that they're taken. I don't have them in sequential order.
Mm-hmm.
You can't tell like when, you know. That's interesting if you look at it over the, you know, if you look at maybe the previous auction, and then you can kind of see the ebbs and flows of the auction, how that works. I miss that part. I don't get that, but
you know, I kind of fill in the spots like when you put out that like that page with all the like empty spots and stuff, and the keepers are already in and everything, like the roster and stuff. I kind of fill in the spots from there. Yeah. And that's kind of like what I do during the draft and stuff. So I don't have to do too much. And so, you know, but
it's funny. See, I don't do
thank God
that.
You put that out. I love that
part of it. I don't do like I don't know that Phil already has 3 catchers or 8, you know, because
no, there's no way of us knowing. We're
but if you use that, if you fill it in on that sheet, then you would have an idea of that. Like, oh, he's already got 3 catchers. But the problem is, you got a guy that you've got teams that end the auction having taken 1 catcher. I think that happened this year. And another year, I remember somebody had like 4 catchers. And once you have 3 catchers, I'm not thinking you're taking another one. I would bet money on it. And it's happened. You know,
Phil's first year in the league, he took like 6 catchers. I'm like, Jesus Christ. He's like, damn, I don't have a fucking third baseman. And I'm just like looking at him like, that's your problem.
Yeah, I was learning the ropes.
Haywire on first baseman. I'm like, holy fucking shit.
What do they say? You
it's catcher, not first.
No one's ever gone broke underestimating the intelligence of the American people. Well, I said you can.
And then you won.
You can go broke overestimating what your beer league brothers are going to do in the auction, because they might. All you know is that they'll take probably between 1 and 4 catchers. You know, so that's no help. You know what I mean? So the beer league brothers do not behave like the robots that you might prefer. So
I just think you're going to see more of them like kept from the year before, like as part of the keeper deal and stuff like that. I mean, eventually you're gonna have to drop them, but if you get that guy you can hold on for a couple of years, man, you're pretty set at catcher with 3, I think right now. If you want to keep your catching like your minus plus down on try to keep it towards 0 on catching. But
man. It's so hard to get catching, It's so hard to get up to 0 catching is a real chore.
I don't stream, and so I just have given up where other positions, if the guy's not starting, I put him on the bench. I don't want that one at bat game,
Yeah.
But catchers, I just leave them up because I realize at the end of the year, even if I am close to 0 this time of year, it has never worked out where I can keep that up the whole year, so I just leave the catchers up now, so I do get some 1 at bat starts from my catchers. I know in September I'll be like -10. I'll be like, oh, I should have just left those guys up all year,
Yeah.
That's the way I do it. I mean, if you stream, it's totally different.
Well, I was just streaming that kid from Miami yesterday because 2 of my other catchers were out, and I didn't need him anymore, so that's why I grabbed Alec Thomas.
Right. Hey, can I share a screen with you guys?
Yeah, let me see here. Yep, you
I
can
need
do
permission, maybe. But,
No, go ahead. You already got permission.
And maybe it's not interesting, but okay. Then that's just on me. I don't know how to do it. Maybe this is it. All right.
Big green button at the bottom.
All right. Let's look at this. Oops.
You can play the hell out of guitar.
Oh, I got it. Okay, cool. I see it. Yeah. All right. Share screen. There we go. All right. I'm going to show you this is what I bring to the draft.
There we go. What happened? Oh, there we go. Oh, yeah.
Is this pre-auction then, or what is it?
Yeah, that's all our keepers or something.
This doesn't make sense that they're both yellow, though. Are these the +27 guys?
Yeah, that's the ones that we added money onto. Like Pete Alonso, I think I put 27 or 28 on him. He was like actually
this guy should be
something.
green. Did I use all the same color?
No, this is Phil. Phil, you don't have your mic on right now, dude.
Oh yeah, Phil, you're muted. He was probably talking this whole time. You got to click your mute. Yeah.
There it is. All right, there. I don't know why. Okay, well, that was sharing screen. When I shared my screen, then all of a sudden I muted it. So, here. Can I go back to that screen? Can you guys see that screen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I go. Tell me if I get unmuted again, but we'll get back to this fucking thing. All right, so look at Jeff's team, for instance, right? So I was thinking, all right, so these are the guys he's going to match down below. I don't keep every guy because I know he's not going to want to match every guy, and I don't care about every guy. It's guys I might be interested in or a guy I think he's going to match. So I'm thinking, and some of these numbers, they're not dollar amounts. It's like my rank on them.
I already knew that when I saw Gleyber Torres 92 and Baez 129.
Yeah, I figured
okay,
you would figure
I
that
don't know
one.
what it is, but it's not
For
dollars.
the folks that aren't as quick as you. It's for the people that aren't as quick as you, I guess.
Lonzo is $3.
It's just nice. Yeah, it's just nice to see who they got left in their tank.
So that's a ranking you got there.
I just basically get rid of the clutter,
So those are rankings below.
Yeah, usually it's just like Fangraphs auction value or something, You can do that on Fangraphs for free and put in your settings, and it'll just tell you how good they think
I've done that. I've done like a real tailored to our league thing, even the relief pitcher discount and all these things you can do. And the dollar values, they're better than nothing, but there's there's no way to exactly replicate what the beer league does, you know?
Yeah. So my ranks instead, I do I export it, and then I mostly go by per game, you know, for hitters. How many points you get per game. That's what matters for hitters. And for pitchers, it's per inning pitched. So then for me, I just know going in, all right, these are the guys I probably want to match, Goldschmidt and Muncy and Seager, and I got a number in my head of like around what I want to spend for them. I just put that in there and just like in these little gray spots, you know, hoping I can get them for that price or something. And then I had a special thing with unmatchable guys, which was a lot more this year, which was mostly Dougie's guys. Plus some other guys like, you know, Yoshida, somebody
DC,
who's coming
right?
in from Japan. What's that?
These guys, right?
Oh, Yoshida's been good this year.
Yeah, they're guys that either nobody can match or there's somebody that, somebody dropped them, or I threw in some of Dougie's because he wasn't going to be there.
So I'm saying Chet Lemon Express, or what's his team? You know, DC.
Yeah.
That's what it was. These are DC guys. My bad.
What was his team name? It wasn't Chet Lemon Express anymore, was it? It was,
Yeah.
I thought he changed it. No, I can't remember.
I think it's Chet Lemon Express.
Okay.
But anyways, I'm gonna go too far into it, but that's my general, like, I just want to have that stuff done ahead of time so I can enjoy the draft. I learned that from trying to host and draft at the same time, you know.
I think every one of us does something pretty similar. You know, it's not the same format, but it's pretty similar in doing the, you know, when you are in this league long enough, you know what kind of like avenues you're looking at. You know what type of list you need to make.
And less info. Like, talk to Larkin about what he brings, you know. The less is more.
I see
you can make decisions. You don't have a bunch of clutter, you know. Less decisions to make, you know.
He likes to do it all on paper and stuff, you know. He's not, you know, he just comes in with his notebook and he's got it all written down.
It's really all about bringing it down to one number, you know. Like, I remember early on, we would have drafts back before even the auction, and it'd be somebody's turn, and they'd be looking up stuff in a magazine. And, oh, how many? You know, no, you can't do that. Then it's got to be one number. You got to go in and just leave that stuff at home and just, you know, I mean, I guess in a pinch you could look something up, but generally, you know, I just go in with maybe not one number, but like two numbers in mind, and they're both dollar amounts, and that's it. You know what I mean? I'm not thinking about how many RBIs the guy had or something. You know?
Wow.
That's like, you know, you're not gonna have enough time to do that.
You got all that stuff. You got to wrap it up into your own value.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and rank these guys where you like them and sit, and then.
And more than anything, know who you want. Don't bother on guys. If you don't like a guy, just don't write him down. Don't even have him on your list. Just cross him off so you don't accidentally bid on him. Just don't. You know, how many times you go to an auction, you're like, why did I go for that guy? You know,
give yourself 6 or 7 targets at each position and see how you fill them up.
I think as the years have gone on for me, like, you know, when I had trouble at the auction, it was not being able to adjust. So I'd go in with certain dollar amounts and I would just stick to them out of the belief that, you know, if you're patient, you'll get deals at the end, but you have to adjust because you'll end up with, you know, money left over.
Oh,
if you're too patient. I think the other way where you spend too much early, that's preferable to being patient.
That's how you end up with Trey Turner, though.
But
that's
you know,
how you steal Trey Turner
that fucking still burns my ass.
That's preferable than to being too patient. But
I was just bidding him up to what I thought he was worth, man, and then the room was just quiet as hell.
Well, no, what burns my ass is I made the stupid fucking move to think Javier Baez was going to be something someday, and I needed like money, and I thought he was going to be cheaper and fucking like break out of his shell, and it was wrong, very, very wrong.
But don't trust the smart teams to be smart, but also, man, I don't know, just like homegrown players, man, they'll kill you in fantasy football and fantasy baseball. Root for your home team in fantasy.
Trey Turner's been down this year.
But here's another tricky. tricky area that helps, experience. I mean, like, Phil, you've been in the league, I think the second shortest of anybody. Only Kimmler has been in the league less time than you, but you've been in for 10 years and you're like second newest. I think that's right. What you learn the more you do it is, here's another tricky area. Like, guys that you have worth $4 or something. But you've got these guys that you want that are worth, you'd be willing to spend $50 on it, something like that. The $4 guy comes up for bid and you put in it. Well, I'll go 2 on him. I think he's worth like $3 or $4 and you get him. And then now you've eliminated the chance to get this $50 guy later. It's like, I think with experience, I've done that. I know that actually it was Bermersky. He and I don't know. He was a good good at gamesmanship, and I was not, at least back then. And I still don't think that's my biggest strength anyway. But he did that. I got a guy. I don't know. He wasn't specifically targeting me, but I'll bet you he didn't want that guy. And I got him for let's say $6, and he was fine. I mean, I had him work. I wouldn't bid anything if I didn't think he was worth that. But it takes me out of the running for a starting pitcher that one of the top guys that maybe I was trying to get. So that's another area that gets tricky.
I'm running out of juice. Let me get my plug. Sorry.
Is what?
I'm running out of power. I got to get my plug.
His plug. I'm glad it's for the computer.
Yeah, the baseball trophy is going to go out if he doesn't put his plug in.
So that's a tricky area. Do you know what I'm talking about with that? Like the modestly priced guy that, that's a good price, but I want this guy. I'm much more excited to get this guy that maybe I'm going to go up to $60 for or something, So.
I guess it's just the thing is value to like what they put out and stuff like that is you got to have your own little chart on that stuff. And, I mean, sometimes the gloryful names will drive the price up on somebody. It doesn't mean they're going to be the better pitcher.
If I could take Kimmler's book, and give away a secret. I don't know, if a guy ain't worth $15 or $20, then he ain't worth nothing. If he's going to be if I can pick him up off the wire or equivalent 3 weeks into the season, why am I going to bid any money on this guy at all?
Well, that's what
a $4 player is to me. He's not worth $4. He's worth nothing because there's going to be other $4 players at the end of the auction just sitting out.
It depends where you put your cutoff, and that's a really important part of this. Is you should not go into the auction. Let's say we take 100 pitchers, 100 starting pitchers. You should not go into the auction bidding $1 on the guy that's ranked 100th on your list. You've got to go in. Your $1 guy is the best guy that's available at the end of the auction. So if you think, or if last year, I always use the previous auction as my guide, but let's say in theory that 100 starting pitchers are going to be worth $1 or more, at the end of the year. But at the end of the auction, if your 50th or 60th best pitcher is out there, that's where your cutoff is, not at 100, because all our lists disagree. We don't all have the same 100 guys in our list or whatever, So that's a big thing to learn for people. It's like, when you have the dollar values in the magazines, even though we can't even use those anyway because they're all based on Roto, but if we did, they still wouldn't be what you should go into the auction with. Like a $2 guy in those magazines, like you're saying, he's going to be available at the end of the auction. I mean, so anybody lower on your list that you spent money on, lower than a guy that's available at the end of the auction, that's money, that's completely wasted money. I mean, it's, you can't, so that was a big thing to learn, like you're saying, like,
I don't think the last guy's even worth anything though. Like he's not even really worth $1. That's what you got to spend for him. But
look what Lou did this
think about
year.
How many people get dropped after the draft.
Lou's whole pitching staff was full of dollar pitchers. And he started out of the gates pretty damn well.
But anyway,
that's he got good deals.
That's a real tenet of there's some really good books out there, and they're old. Art McGee wrote a book about valuing rotisserie baseball players. It's like a 100-page book, and it's really tiny, and I have it. It's a great book, even though it's roto. It doesn't totally apply. But that was one of the things he said. Is don't set your cutoff at 168 hitters. You got to go under that. And his recommendation was like maybe 90% or something like that. But I found in the beer league, at least maybe because my valuations are so nuts or something, I find that number to be more like 60%. Even though he said
Right.
like 85. I find it to be. So what that does is you're squeezing more money into a smaller amount of players. But it's not the entire budget, right? Because some of that money is going to be wasted on players that are under your cutoff. But if you use the total amount spent on those players above your cutoff, that's what I do now. And
Yeah.
So you're saying that like even these like $4 guys aren't worth anything, but I'm saying like,
Well, yeah, it's the same idea.
If you've got a guy that's worth, according to your list, $4, and he's available 3 weeks in, or whatever, he's probably not really worth $4. But I know what you're saying too. It's it could be because he's taken the auction and then dropped.
I think we're saying the same thing. If you put your cutoff there, I probably just need to put my cutoff as less players instead of putting it in as 11 teams this year and putting our regular rosters. Maybe I just need to put it in as 8 teams or something, and then all of a sudden.
I think we're saying the same thing, except that I think you're saying it a little more radically than I am, and it's probably right. Like I'm saying, the last guy taken in the auction at that position is worth $1. What you're saying is like, screw that guy. He's like Josh Donaldson was my last hitter.
I think it's right for hitters.
But I mean, like Josh Donaldson, I think was like my last hitter taken, and yeah, he was on my team not even a week probably or something. So,
you dropped him before the season started.
Yeah. So you're right. It's probably even more radical than the way that I'm doing it. But anyways, that's what you need to do. So I mean, I think everybody knows that intuitively, that like, I can just get this guy in the scrap heap. It's not worth anything.
Right. Yeah, we all kind of know at the end.
And when somebody else bids $2 on, good riddance. Go ahead. I hope you're happy with the guy that it's gonna be on your team till April 20th or something.
But there's guys at the end, just because they got bid for $2 doesn't mean I don't think they're a guy that's worth 12. That I do want. I just got a good price on them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then guys go for somebody else. I don't know. Andrew McCutcheon's a reasonably good player. He's doing better this year than he has in a while. But I don't know. He's not going to win you your league. He's just a guy.
He's my dude. He's my dude.
Oh, is he on your team? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to pick on you. He just came because
he's actually
I love
been
Andrew McCutcheon
the whole year. I don't think I think I got him in the auction. But
yeah.
Well, gentlemen, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it is like we've been on here for 3 hours.
Yeah, I got a ribeye sitting out for me. I got to go eat.
Yeah, that went by fucking really quick.
So this is the longest one ever. Oh man.
Oh yeah. Bill keeps trying to break the record.
This is a real challenge to expect that people are going to watch this all the way through. It's got to be.
I'm trying to get out early.
But hey, you know what? I had fun.
Yeah.
All
boys, it was a good time. Yeah. Good luck, and we'll talk to you in a few weeks, or Jeff before then. I'll talk to both of you before then. But.
Dude, we'll probably be fucking meeting up again on here again in September. You know how the fucking ebb and flow is.
Maybe in August, right? I don't know. It's like
thanks to the end of August, early September.
I love throwing these on while I'm looking at the league. It's just like kind of good chatter in the background while I'm just like scoping around the league. It's good. Even if it takes a couple different days to listen to it, it's still like
This one's going to be a 3 or 4 day listen, I think.
Yeah.
Well, let's cut it then. All right, boys. I'll catch you later.
All right. See you, buddy.
Thanks for coming on.
I'll get into Demon Tap soon.
Hope so. Bye.
See you, Phil.
See ya, buddy. I have to kick you out.
Oh man, this was a long one. I think
Oh my God, man.
I lost track of the hours because Eastern time, Central time. So I was thinking, I wasn't thinking it was 3 hours. I think I was thinking it was like coming on 2. Oh,
I had a nice big glass of Jameson, so my back doesn't hurt anymore.
that's good. See,
And then a little bit of sativa to go with. Brett Favre cocktail without the codeine.
Hmm. I like when we talk about the auction and things like specific to our league. You know, like I don't know the baseball stuff. I don't know. I don't have much to say. What can I say? But, no.
Well, you're just bummed out with the Mets, man. It's I mean, I would be the same way if the fucking Cubs had no hope. But you know, here's a fucking thing. You sign people, build it up to be this fucking thing. And it's kind of like what the, you know what, to be honest with you, it's kind of like what the White Sox are feeling on the South Side right now, to be honest with you, is what you're feeling with the Mets.
For half as much money, though.
Oh yeah. Yeah. But it was like all this fucking like everything they traded away to get these rookies and these young guys in. They're gonna be the next coming to slice Wonder Bread, you know what I mean?
I guess it
And
depends on how you were on like Luis Robert, Jimenez.
yeah, but you know what? It looks like those guys only want to fucking play when they want to play. They don't put it out there every day like that, you know?
I guess it
It's
was
just
never.
I keep getting those guys, they keep busting themselves on camera being lazy. That's the problem I see with Luis Roberts and Eloy. Eloy can't fucking stay healthy. You know, he's a soft player. Any little soft tissue, whatever, he's gonna be on the DL.
I guess
It's just
the reason that I was
it's
high in
robbery is what it
the reason
is.
that I was high in the White Sox. I don't even know if I was as high in the White Sox as like the guys that are on TV and stuff like analysts on TV. The reason I was high on them is because I knew that they were good, and that division was very winnable. You know, I don't think I would have been nearly as high in the White Sox if they were in the AL East or something like that. You know, but
Yeah.
yeah, they've even under my more modest take on them. They've underperformed that.
Right now, I think the problem with the White Sox this year is that they lost their identity because he got like signed by the Houston Astros. You know, he was the oldest hat of that whole locker room, and all these guys came in, and he was, you know, even though he wasn't the spoken leader, he was the grandpa, the leader of the group, you know. And once he left, there was a void. And I don't think Tim Anderson can't really fill it himself, but it's up to other players to fill that fucking
Abreu
void.
was back when I was jealous of things that the White Sox did. Like when they got Abreu for $11 million a year, I was like, why weren't the Mets in on that?
He was the next big thing after Konerko.
And he did great, but he didn't do probably as great as I thought he was going to do. I mean, like I thought he was just going to be a monster in baseball, and he was good. I'm not complaining.
Well, he started off that way, but he didn't finish that way.
Yeah.
I mean, he just.
But his numbers, it's hard to compare the numbers in Cuba. But like, if you compared his numbers in Cuba to like other Cuban players that came up, I mean, like, he basically had like video game numbers down there. It was like, I don't know, over a 1,200 OPS. It was nuts what he was able to do down there. But I'm not complaining because he was a good first baseman, good player, and he was at $11 million a year originally, which is very reasonable, even back then.
Right.
So he was always one of my favorites.
Okay.
You look
Let
at
me
the
just
other
look really quick and see what he's doing this year. Oh, he's batting .227 with 4 home runs.
Yeah,
33 RBIs. And
he got off to a horrendous
runs.
start, though. What's he doing like late?
That is
months or something.
terrible.
But look what he's doing the last month.
Well, all of last year, he had only 15 home runs.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just it was a time for them to say good riddance. Okay, so you've got Jose Abreu, 227, 4 home runs, 33 RBIs. Let's see what Andrew Vaughn's doing.
I mean, numbers wise, you can't really fault them for cutting, cutting the cord, but
All right, Andrew
But-
Vaughn is batting 237, which is higher. 9 home runs, which is like twice as much, and 41 RBIs with 32 runs. I think the White Sox made the right choice.
it looks like it, I mean, but what you're saying is there could be things besides the numbers that are not helping them this year.
Well, they're gonna get it together. It's gonna take a little time. I think I don't think the book is out on Pedro Grifol. I think he's just trying to figure out who these fucking guys are. And because I mean, when you first show up somewhere, everybody's gonna put on their fucking good face. They're gonna try to impress. And then as time goes on, you see the real person, and all of a sudden they gotta figure out how to manage some of these personalities and shit.
What if you
It's
bring
rough
like a
to be
Joe
a
Madden or
first-year.
something?
What's that?
What if you bring in like a Joe Madden or something?
Joe Madden isn't the fucking goddamn magician of goddamn baseball.
I agree. I agree.
I mean, he's put himself in a couple of good spots.
That's why I
But-
think I could see that this job would be appealing to him because he's sort of like Bill Parcells in the day. Like he's an opportunist. He knows when he can go in, like the Jets. You come into the Jets after Rich Kotite, you go 500, you're gonna be a hero. That's basically.
Yeah,
what he did.
he's also been a World Series manager, so that holds some street
He's been in
cred, but
Chicago.
yeah.
So
he knows Chicago, but I don't know. Anyway, we gotta go.
yep.
We gotta go because I gotta ride with tomorrow. So
All right. We'll see you next week.
yeah, man. Who are we gonna put you on next week? Chad?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Next week was
Doug. I think I'm gonna reach out to Doug.
all right.
See if he can do it.
If he can't do it, we can figure something else out. Have you reached out to Steiger about 4th of July weekend?
Yeah, I have to do that. I did like a while ago, but
Okay.
yeah, I should definitely do that again.
Yeah, he's the only one we haven't got up yet.
Right. That's that's one of our 2 shots, I think. So
Yeah,
hopefully you can do something.
and we might, I mean, Labor Day, I'm going to be busy Labor Day, so we might
All
have
right,
to
so maybe we
cancel.
won't do it then.
We might have to cancel that week.
Okay. I think that's
Oh.
fine. I think we've reached the point where we could take a week off. It's fine.
Yeah. Just to be able to write more content, right?
All
All right,
Jake,
dude.
well, good luck. The dads need a good week, man. So
Oh, dude. I mean, I just need to be positive. Keep giving me 4 and 2s for the rest of the year, and I will eventually eke my way back into it.
if you can edge Satch out for win-loss, like a 5-1, a 6, and if that's you instead of him, I think we'd all be for it.
Slow and steady wins the race, brother.
All right.
All right, man.
See you next
Have
week.
a good night. I
All
will
right.
talk to you soon.
Okay, bye-bye.